podcast is where facts come to die.
Yep. They're going to come
We don't
for you.
know them. We don't know the facts. We know what we think we might have heard.
Well, I know. I read a thing that said... Oh,
wow.
Okay.
I had to, this is a side note, but I had to learn how to breathe again.
Again.
Breathe
again.
Where do you breathe like diaphragmatic breathing?
Yeah.
I go to a Rolfer.
Excuse me,
Rolfing
Rolf?
is a thing, yeah.
ROFL.
It's a type of like
Rolling
body
over
adjustment.
laughing?
And the guy basically is like, "Oh, you're a belly breather, huh?" I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "No." I'm like, I started doing this because somebody else told me I was breathing wrong.
It's the opposite. It's like when you breathe in, it's basically however babies breathe is how you're doing it. It's like when you go.
But
it's
I
like,
don't think I think babies are belly breathers.
When you breathe in, it's supposed to go out.
Right. But I was doing that and that's wrong. According to this guy.
This guy. All right, what do you say?
So I wore a girdle 2 days this week. Don't worry about it.
Ew, you're doing a waist trainer?
It was actually
trainer.
a band. Yeah, basically I called up Khloe Kardashian and she sent me a little merch. We got a song that we got to start the show off with because this guy, who sent it?
Christopher Bill.
Christopher Bill?
Can you believe it? So Christopher Bill sent in a sitcom version of How Neal Feel, and it's about as glorious a song as we've ever gotten.
Okay.
Will, go.
So you're driving along, or you're having a meal. Well, come along and listen to Pinky and Neal. Now you don't have to take it, and you might not like it, but you knew that was the deal. 'Cause it's How Neal Feel.
That's so fucking
Guy
good.
fucking nailed it.
HowNealFeel.
You knew it. You knew it.
You knew it.
And he did the short one, like
He did a good just start.
He did that's a perfect parody.
It's just missing like sha-na-na-na.
Nah, it's the different.
No, I mean just it's good. It's fantastic.
There was a guy who used to do theme songs like that.
What's that like?
Sha-na-na-na. I don't know what
Sha-na-na.
that's obviously the Full House parody, but that guy had 3 or 4 on the market on the streets. Sha-na-na-na was
it's
like
a
an
Family Matters,
existing.
Family Matters and Full House.
Yeah,
I feel
Friday
like we're-
night. What was it called?
a TJF, dude.
Friday. I'm
you didn't
old, so I
watch
didn't catch
those.
any of them.
No.
They were just, I was working on those shows.
Oh, okay.
Will still haven't made a good edit on that. But anyhow, so I learned how to breathe.
You're killing me.
I went to a Rolfer. I spent.
It just feels like you've already made up the first 2 things you did.
I did a lot of bed boing. I had to rewrite some stuff this week, so I was just in bed boing,
Boing
bed
boing.
boing. And I did comedy at the Comedy Store and the Improv and an outdoor show in LA.
Outdoor, are they hitting still?
Yeah, I don't know how much longer they're going to be able to do them, but there is something. If you pay, they pay. If the store pays $50 and those outdoor shows pay $250, I'm not going to say no to an outdoor show.
Yeah, for sure. Damn, I didn't know
so-
they were paying.
Yeah, they're paying because they're
They have
charging
to.
a lot.
Yeah.
and they don't have like we have overhead.
Right.
They just 4-wall it, as they call it in the biz. Kind of bombed both times at the Improv. Weirdly enough.
Which one? The Improv, the outdoor Improv?
No, the Improv, indoor Improv.
Oh.
Store I've been doing great, but the Improv I vary on what they call uneven sets, where I didn't know what jokes were gonna work. I was like, I have no idea. One joke would work, and then the next one, but it was the same amount of fucking transgressive, so
Right.
it was impossible to follow.
Did those situations throw you off?
Yeah, because you have it's not enjoyable going into a joke when you don't know what's going to happen. If you think it'll probably work, you tell it better.
Yeah.
But if you tell someone a story and they're like, you're going to be like,
then
maybe I'm not going to tell this person so many stories. And then you
cut
have
it
the
short.
choice.
You don't do as many tags.
Yeah. Or do I do like hits, which do me no good whatsoever?
You're also very good when you bomb. So was it not that good? That good Neal
I had
bomb?
a good bomb and I had a bad bomb.
Oh no!
I had a good bomb where I was like making fun of it.
Yeah.
And
It's
I had a
very
bad
funny when
bomb.
Neal's bombing.
Yeah,
it is so funny.
It was pretty funny. And the bad bomb, I had a thing happen. I'm not on Zoloft anymore.
Yeah.
There are points now, and it happened before, like years ago, little panic attacks.
Oh, I remember you told me you had one as you were going on stage once.
Yes. And at the Improv on Friday, I hadn't been on the stage in a long time, that stage in particular. And I got a panic attack in the first. It's just a surge.
What does it feel like? Just
Can't breathe, can't think everyone can tell. And they can tell. I can't really speak. So it is.
that's a problem.
That's a big problem when you're speaking, when you're there to speak. So it takes probably 8 seconds. I think I have a thing I realize the kinds of jokes I can do when I'm in that.
You should do hits to get you out.
I just have to do jokes with short sentences, if that makes sense. Like easy logic to remember and short sentences.
How long till you're like, okay, I'm back?
25 seconds.
Okay.
So I was thinking
it's
of
like one
like
joke.
going like, do you guys mind if I have a panic attack real quick?
That's really funny.
And by round of applause, who wants to see me have a panic attack? I have a few ideas. But it's I don't like it. I'll say
well,
this.
yeah, it doesn't sound comfortable at all.
Yeah.
Is that because you haven't done Aya in a second? Or
No, it's because I haven't. It happens on stages that I haven't been on. Either never been on or haven't been on in a while.
you going back?
Yeah.
But you're not going to go back on solo because you can't do Aya.
No, I also don't need it other than panicking at my job.
Okay. Little bump, little road
But
bump.
yeah, like a little.
I don't know. That's kind of scary.
Yeah.
I don't know what panic. I mean, I've had panic attacks, but only very situational. Like I'm very claustrophobic, so when I'm in an elevator, I have a panic attack almost every time.
What do you do?
I mean, I can't do much because I'm already in the elevator, but I just like face the corner. So if you see me in an elevator and I'm facing,
Leave her be, guys. If you see her in the
just
elevator
don't-
facing the corner.
and the problem is that if someone comes in the elevator and is like, people who just are
Yeah.
annoying button pushers.
Yep.
I can't control. I'm like, stop, please stop. It's like
And
a
they think
total.
you're talking to the wall because you're not facing them.
No, I turn around.
Oh, you do turn right. You turn around for that.
Just be like, don't.
Does that make the panic worse?
The button pushing? I'm like, what the fuck? It's gonna close. You pushing.
Well, yeah, there was a long New York article about elevators
close?
one time.
And, that's really
About
wait, really?
Schlage or whoever makes. There's one company that makes
Otis.
90. Otis, sorry. Otis
Schlage.
makes. Schlage makes lots.
Schlage.
Otis make 90,
Yeah.
85%, and 85% of elevators they make. And so it was just a long article about the company and how they
Can
developed
you
it.
forward it to me? New York.
Look it up. New Yorker.
New Yorker. Okay.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, in my building, the elevator's from the 60s, and so it's a manual accordion one.
Yeah.
You know that you have to close both doors.
Wow.
And I don't get scared in those, which everybody else is frightened in that one because it's like shaking and rickety.
Yeah.
It's because I can breathe. I can see the outside.
Yeah. You are comforted by the thing that freaks everybody out.
Exactly.
You can see rats. There's my guy as you're going past them.
The humble elevator and the rise of modern civilization.
See?
That's
Typical
lovely.
New York article. Like
Okay, I
even the
wanna read it.
title is like
It's
says
lovely.
it all.
Yep.
Anyhow.
So you Rolfed.
I rolfed. I did a lot of stand up.
bed-boyed,
I bed boyed it.
you
And
stand-
I
you
think
stood.
that's it.
You
Tennis
stood up.
lessons, of course.
Ew, of course. What's going
Why is
on?
it ooh?
I don't know. I just don't see it as like a. Because I think you're like the anti-rich guy. You don't do rich guy stuff.
It's at a public court. It's not like It's not like
Like
well,
at
in
the
my backyard.
countryside.
Yeah.
No, I know, but you just don't do typical rich guy stuff. So when
No.
you do, I'm like,
Yeah, it doesn't
What?
feel like it doesn't. It's public court, so it's. I guess it's. You know
It's
what?
fine.
Now,
I'm
you
just
know
being
what?
judgmental.
This is
I'm
why stereotypes don't work. The best tennis player in the world is a black woman. So
That's true.
it's like, why didn't that? It's the joke I never do, which is that only negative stereotypes take off. They don't. No one ever after Obama. No one said, you know how these black people are building consensus and
Right.
super logical.
well, no, I mean, the problem is like, to me, golfing's still a white sport, even though
Yeah.
Tiger Woods is like one of the greats.
The funny thing about tennis, you're absolutely right. The funny thing about tennis is, I think Michael Costa did a joke about this.
What?
It's the language, all that 40 love. You know how
Right.
it's hard to follow?
Right.
Intentional to keep poor people away.
Damn, really?
Intentional. It's like a way.
What are white people doing?
I mean, wow.
Wow.
Wow. Was that the cold open of Wimbledon just now? Or was that a hot drop from Will? So yeah. So
killing me
tennis,
today.
enjoyable.
Okay.
And Rolfing, of course, who can forget? And then just stand up. How about you?
I have an answer.
Oh, I love it.
I went and visited mi madre.
Did you really?
Yeah, I went to the Bay.
How long had it been?
I went. Oh, how long had it been? Probably like 4 months. Probably Christmas.
It's a long time for you.
Yeah. It feels so close though. Like I used to live in far away places, so this doesn't feel that bad. Like I don't
Yeah.
complain about it as much because I can, if I really want, I can go after the pod and go. You know, I'll be there in like 5 hours. But it was so funny. So I stopped at like a place to get a breakfast burrito because I rented a car, and there was a guy just brushing his hair in the parking lot, standing outside the breakfast spot, and he was staring at me. So I was like, God, okay. So I go and I order my breakfast burrito, and he comes in. He's like, "So you blow it out?" And I'm like, "I'm sorry." He's like, "You blow that thing out? You blew it out to straighten it?" And I'm like, "Oh, my hair?" And he's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Yeah, I've blown it out and straightened it. How long does it take you?" I'm like, "Oh my."
He had longish hair?
No, he did fucking like he looked like your hair. I don't know why he was brushing it. And then he's like,
As an icebreaker. That's why it was. I'll tell you why.
I was like, an hour. That's how long it would take me to do it.
To blow your hair out?
And I was like, oh, okay. And he's like, I did hair for 25 years. I'm like, start with that. That was
Yeah.
so weird.
Yeah.
It was such a weird exchange. And then he was like, my favorite hair texture. You have my favorite hair texture. And I was just like,
This guy, burnout?
Yeah, he was like, I did hair for 25 years and I retired and now I sell weed. I was like, okay, okay. I'm gonna go now. Bye-bye. Don't murder me. And then I finally made it after that frightening interaction. I made it to the Bay and it was lovely. Visited mi madre and friends, and it was like 85 degrees in San Francisco, which was
Yeah, I don't know
lovely.
who to talk to about this bullshit LA weather.
Yeah, it was. I left the entire time. I mean, I'm
You
from
guys, it's 63.
I'm from the
like
South
all the time.
Bay, so it's better weather. San Francisco, 85 with a breeze, so it brought it down to like 80.
Mm-hmm.
Lovely, no clouds the whole time. I was in the Bay. I come here. What'd you
Garbage.
do, Neal? You played
Garbage.
too much tennis.
Garbage.
You upset someone.
It's been garbage for 3 months.
Is this May Gray?
This I don't know if this
made that
is. I don't know if this is climate change. I'd
this
like
is
to
not.
think
We
it is.
cannot. Okay, we have
It's
to be the
gonna
last
change.
people to
No, I know,
complain.
but it's gonna be. It's gonna be.
The seasons are gonna.
No, it's just gonna change the jet stream. So
Right.
shit like London's gonna be freezing. London's very far north. London's
Yeah.
north of America, so it's gonna be more that climate. They're like surviving now on a. They got a good jet stream. London.
Got that hot
jet.
What are we gonna do?
America is just going to move. My prediction is I'll be long dead. I'll be in the beam. Vancouver will be Los Angeles.
Meaning what? And what terms of?
Way better, like LA weather.
And what's going on with us?
Oh, this is on fire.
Oh, it'll still be warm.
Yeah, but it'll be on fire. And you won't be able to get water. So get your stuff.
Cool.
Pack your stuff. Start packing now. By the end of the podcast, you'll be
What
ready
will
to go.
happen with your loft? What will be of your legacy?
Well, there's a ocean rising issue that I've thought about. I mean, most of real estate is like tricking people into buying your shit. Like, hey, yo, dog. And then someone tricks me into buying there. It's just trickery. It's levels of trickery.
In college, in California, you have to go on a field trip if you take geography. And so all we did was go to the beach, and my teacher just pointed to everybody's beachfront property and said like where the foundational issues are and the issues they're going to have like coming just due to erosion. And he was just like, do not buy property near the beach.
Yeah.
Everything will always end up in the ocean.
Yeah, but everyone's moving to Miami. It's like, bring your fucking water wings. Because you're going to need,
Nap.
sweetheart.
Bring your
baby,
water wings,
Did you
baby.
bring your water wings? So, anyhow, you seen Facebook?
Not in
And
a while. Yes. It's they prolonged the trial.
This I don't have a lot of sympathy for really anyone.
I know.
Corporations are pretty low down as well.
Right.
They're below people. People are already pretty low. If you're Facebook, what do you do? Because the thing that the Facebook's in a position where if Donald Trump does a press conference, CNN can air it, Fox can air it, everyone can air it. And Donald Trump can lie during the speech or the stump speech or the press conference, and they just go, that's what he says. If he posts it on Facebook, then it becomes like this weaponized thing. So if you're Facebook, you got to be like, well, what? Also, he's the president. You don't think the president should be heard?
But they banned him after he was right, or
Well,
was
of
it,
course, yeah.
okay.
But I'm saying it's
You think
or
he's
the
still
former
important?
president.
You
Or
think he
it's
still like serves a purpose?
it's like newsworthiness. That's like that's the category. He is gaming the system. They didn't.
Yeah, of
no one imagined a
Nobody.
president this corrupt. He's gaming the system, but they're in a fucking really hard position.
Yeah, for sure. Also because like it was so much nonsense where I don't know, there's no where do they just be like, all right, fine. Because Facebook isn't like holding everyone to task for not lying.
Well, they
So
say inciting violence. And that's one of those things. Trump's really good at never saying. He's very good at never saying the thing that get him prosecuted. It's kind of his gift.
Yeah.
Is getting incredibly close to the line. And that's what America allows for. It allows for incendiary speech right up.
Yeah, technicalities. Like
Right up to you getting punched in the face.
what did he say? And he added something. And he's like, he added something to a speech he gave. And then I don't know enough to. Basically, they were prevented from suing him because he said he just
One
added
word,
one word of like
Sometimes.
yeah,
Yeah.
not really, or like
You know what I mean, folks.
it's just something
some
that like
rejoinder.
neutralizes everything that no one cares about, but technically and legally gets him out of it.
Yeah. He's been speaking publicly for a long time.
Sad that Facebook has to be the pillar of morality here.
Well, that's what happens when you build it's the Rogan issue. It's the same issue people have with Rogan. They have 1 billion users or 2 billion, something like, I don't know what the
Facebook.
numbers are. I think it's in the million, 2.5 billion. So they have 2.7 billion. So almost 3 billion. That's almost everybody.
Right.
Because once you subtract babies and shit, it's
Yeah.
like it's a fucking
Right.
almost everybody.
Right.
And then you become, it's the Jon Stewart thing, it's the Rogan thing. It's like, well, now we were just kind of funning,
Right.
and now it's now we're a news organization
Right.
and a religious organization and all these other organizations that they didn't. That fucking Asperger's case can't. It's not in his his wheelhouse is numbers.
Right.
So then it's like make a moral decision. He goes, I'm in favor of Holocaust deniers being on Facebook. I wouldn't stop them. And then 6 months later, he's like, I thought about the Holocaust deniers thing and I'm against it now. Wow, man, what happened? Did you hear about the fucking Like, so I wouldn't want to, I don't envy them.
No. They're
I
in a
don't
really
envy
hard
that.
position.
It's an awful position. And then they have to grow quarter to quarter.
And their bottom line is making money, but now they have a morality issue. And then it would just be easier if they could, like, I think for like 24-hour news cycle networks, they have certain rules they have to abide to and they don't have to. And it's just easy for them. Because it's like,
Well, they
we're
used
doing
to.
that.
They've deregulated them.
They've deregulated them, but they still like have one news show at like 4 a.m. Like they do all the things, right?
The Africa show, yeah.
That's always on CNN International.
I actually love it.
It's
I love
a great
it here.
show.
I love watching it at home because it makes me feel like I'm on vacation. Because when you're in a foreign country, good luck finding anything on CNN except for CNN Africa.
The Africa
Spotlight on Africa or something.
yeah, highlights or something like that.
Every story is about.
It's great.
Is about Trevor or who's not T-Pain, the other one. Who started
Akon.
Akon. Every story's about Akon or Trevor.
Akon finding water.
Yes.
Yeah, it's weird that now we have to look to Facebook to solve issues that no one wants to deal with.
No one. I don't want to deal with it, and I'm the biggest know-it-all most people have ever met.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
I have no fucking idea. It's another one of my controversial opinions. I don't know.
I
don't know what to do.
I don't know.
Thank you. We got to figure out the syndications. The guy sent in the song to go with syndicated stories because it's like it sounds like a syndicated sitcom.
Yeah.
So we got to figure out a shorter version. Will you do a horrible edit on that, please? Will, honey? There you go. Just ding, 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 ding. That's it.
Ding, ding, ding.
Two of them.
Too short.
Guys, do you see Will's process and see how infuriating it is?
It's like, do you remember that Seinfeld where somebody suggested Jerry's like, I got a great contractor. He's like, oh, he's great. But he just ends up asking like way too many questions. And he's like, I don't care. Do whatever. Don't ask me another fucking question. And do you remember that?
I've never watched Seinfeld.
You've never watched Seinfeld?
I've watched like 4 of them.
You're
5
friends
of them.
with Seinfeld though.
I said it on the TV show, on the Comedians in Cars.
Why? Not
Because I don't like
think-
sitcoms.
You don't like sitcoms?
No, he goes, I didn't like him either. I was like, you would. The funniest thing, the most Seinfeld character thing you can do is not watch Seinfeld.
100%.
No one on Seinfeld would watch Seinfeld.
No way.
Like they'd be like, Kramer wouldn't have time.
No.
George would be like, it's stupid.
Right.
Elaine would be like, I don't have time. Like they'd all have reasons why.
Right.
Jerry's like, I don't like watching comedians. Now. Facebook, you saw the Facebook Apple thing. We didn't even put on the sheet.
You didn't put it on
So
the sheet.
there's the new iOS. You can. This doesn't pertain to you.
Shut up.
You can be tracked or not. You can opt out of tracking. Any website on your phone, any app, you can opt out of tracking. Do not track me once I leave this app, which they all do. Which that's how these websites make money. Apple just introduced it where you can opt out of any app, any website.
Any website from any country? Because it's very hard when you go to London. I went through one. I'm like, no, fuck this. I'm going to opt out of everything. Oh my God. It was like 200 things.
Safari is a bit of a pain where it's like, what kind of cookies?
Yeah. I'm like,
Always allow? Sometimes allow.
It's
what?
confusing.
How about Fridays? What are you doing next week? And you're like, I don't want to be followed ever. But they're like, helps us.
Right.
So Facebook's 96% of people said do not track me on iOS.
Do you use Apple Maps or do you use Google
No, I
Maps?
use Google.
Go into it. It's a setting. Go into. I've stumbled upon it.
They track everywhere.
Everywhere I've ever been since 2005.
Yeah, I was gonna look, and when we try to figure out what we did this week, I'm like, I don't know. Let me look at my map.
Oh no, I was like, that is so. Everywhere I've ever been since 2005.
comforts me.
Really?
Someone cares.
Weirdo.
Well, no, but that's 4. I like the 4% of people that were like, you know what?
No,
I do
it's
want
fine.
Facebook
Track
to
me.
track me. Keep your eye on me. Who knows what I'm going to be doing? So Facebook, rest in power, King. Or something. Best of, I mean, just
Yeah, like really best of luck.
Figure it out. Best of luck. Tough break. You created a monster. Tough
Yeah.
break. It's Ted Turner one time said, "You're not truly successful in American business until the government intervenes," which is like, yep, well, I got good news, bad news, Facebook.
Right.
You're really successful. Bad news is this guy's from the government. Now, I didn't know about this. You told me about something called Foxmania.
Right. So it's a defense that one of the people that during the insurrection on January 6th, one of them that's being prosecuted or charged, their lawyer is using, they came up with a thing called Foxmania or Foxitis to, as a defense of,
Foxitis is when black people watch Fox and then fall asleep 20 minutes later, right? All right, go ahead. Keep going.
and it's basically like political hysteria. So it said he lost his job during the pandemic and just had Fox News on morning, noon, and night and became
Catatonic.
yeah. And then he became convinced of every single thing they said, and that's his defense for why he stormed the Capitol.
They didn't
I don't
say storm the Capitol. Did they say that on the air?
Who?
Fox? Meaning he's
No.
like, I did everything he said. They didn't say storm the Capitol.
No.
I mean, I'm
That's
of
the thing.
two
That's
minds
why.
on this.
But that's the thing. It's never. Where did they get this idea?
I'm
the
they spell
interwebs.
itis with a U. Foxitus.
Fuck.
Like some fucking
made it all-
some gladiator shit. Foxitis.
Foxitis.
I have MSNB
Citus?
citis. MSNB citis. Yeah, I have MSNB citis.
What would be
First of all, I
CNN?
cut my hair like Rachel Maddow and got the glasses. So right there, I'm already,
He's
Your
already-
Honor,
he's already-
as you can see, I'm already a quasi-lesbian just off the jump. My obvious
Hilarious.
right? It would be really funny to do a bunch of them, like BET-itis.
Right. I
like,
was like, what
I mean,
CNN
like,
and I,
yeah, CNN-itis is
what?
you can't believe the people you're interviewing. You're like, I don't know why I'm interviewing this person that's a moron, but I'm gonna try to be even-handed about it because why not? Where's Rick Santorum? Can we get him on here? If this part of me is like, I don't mind giving these people an out, meaning I'd like them to, if we're talking about rehabilitation,
Right.
if you're willing, it's like if you have Foxitis, we'll block it. If you like, just to get out of that infosphere, if it's making you do crime,
Right.
then we'll just get it out of your life.
But
If
you
you're
have
serious.
to. But you also have to penalize Fox.
This is another.
That's
this is
a
the
Facebook.
Facebook
This
issue.
is
The
a Mayor
Facebook issue,
Mayor
which
Lightfoot, Mayor of Chicago.
Yes, which is people no longer. All of any speaking is biased.
Yeah.
So every news organization is going to be biased. Fox can argue that this is just their take
Right.
on things, and you'd be hard pressed to disprove them. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you'd be hard pressed to go like, that's not what you think. You think this, and you're doing this to do. It's like
Right.
proving libel.
Right.
It's very
really
hard
hard.
to do. Yeah. So it's atrocious what they do. It's atrocious.
It's very obvious.
Yes.
And it's like, no, well, and they're technically not doing anything illegal. You know, it's like, I know these are all opinion
I'm not
shows.
hitting you. You stop hitting yourself.
Right. It's like that shit. So
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, if we're let's go with it. If we're gonna say that is it's almost like pleading insanity. Like I got the foxitis.
Yeah, then you got to get locked up in a place in the sanitarium for foxitis, which is I'll see you in there because I have MSNBcitis. There's no that Dominion is suing all of them, and that could be great.
That's gonna be. It's just so funny. Like, no plot twist of the whole story is Dominion's like, oh no,
Like,
you will not
we can
sully
hire
my
a
name.
lawyer. They just act like, yeah, fucking Dominion did it. Like the scapegoat. It's like, I'm not an actual goat. I can hire a legal team and make a lot. And we know you guys have a lot of fucking money.
Right.
I hope they'll probably settle, but it'll be for a lot of money.
It'll be for a lot of money for sure.
They should. I mean, there should be like some kind of takeover where Dominion can take over the airwaves for a week or something. So great. Is the people returning pets? Would that be for? Did you see this? Our new segment. Did you see this?
No.
Do you have a show and tell?
I have a.
Is it on the sheet or is it separate?
not, sorry.
Oh, off the dome.
Off the dome.
All right. So this is not this is people returning pets.
So apparently
that I know nothing about.
So after the pandemic now, because so many people got pets during the pandemic to keep them company, so now kennels and all these people are seeing a huge rise in people dropping their pets off because they're no longer needed. And it's
Thank you, pets, for your service.
It's like it's so fucked up. What's wrong with people?
Yeah. Shelters are seeing higher than average returns. Same shelters saw a spike in adoptions as people face lockdowns.
Are we that like predictable and cheesy?
Transactional? It's just
It's
transactional.
just like I don't need you anymore.
Thank you.
Thanks.
It's just a disposable
just threw
society.
it.
It's like fucking iPhone 12.
Like
I don't even want to touch it. I literally makes me vomit.
somebody got interviewed and he's like, well, things are opening up and I'm like, I don't have as much time.
Yeah.
All the reasons were sure, yeah, but
Yeah.
what?
Did he
hurts
think did people think they were gonna return them? Probably
No.
not.
No, but I think once things got open,
There's okay. My only defense would be
right.
If you're not home and you can't afford a dog walker, and it's like, well, what do I do? This dog is gonna tear my house up, be miserable.
No, I get it. why are people so? It's grossly predictable.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh no, I'm going out now. Hot girl summer.
Here's the sad thing. The whatever the worst thing you can predict is going to happen.
Yeah.
It's generally what's going to happen.
Okay.
No.
Okay, then let's make some predictions. Let's see. What do you think? So, do you think Corona is going to surge again?
Surge in America? Mm-hmm. No.
Okay.
Give me a number. Over how many a day?
Do you think it's going to go back to
300,000 a day? I don't think that'll ever happen again. Personally, now there's a big caveat, which is let's see how long these vaccines last. We're down to like 39,000 a day now.
which is really
the average is 41, which is great.
yeah.
Look, I want to see those hospital numbers come down, Bianca. They're around 37,000. You know, every night in bed.
We can do better, guys.
I look at these numbers.
Also, getting bigger on the East Coast. What's going on there? Vaccine rollout isn't as.
What happens is certain states.
You don't think we'll ever be? It'll be like.
I don't think
India
we're going to
here.
get to 300,000.
You don't think it'll ever be India?
No.
Here?
A guy followed me on Twitter, comedian, and he's Indian, and I asked him like, "Is it bad?" And he's like, "Yeah, it's not. It's really bad."
Damn.
They can't get oxygen. I mean, that's the thing that they were saying. If we don't shut down, there's just going to be lines of family members trying to get oxygen for their, and then you bring an oxygen tank to your fucking loved one. Like, cool.
Well, that's the funny thing.
Man, I gotta eat.
I
Let me eat in a restaurant. Put pussies. Open her up.
That's the thing. Like, we thought, okay, well, if they open up, it's going to end up that bad. But now I didn't even anticipate that. Oh, we're just going to have examples around the world of the worst case scenario. And no one's touching the story, like conservative sites, because it's like, ooh.
Worst case scenario of what could have happened or what can happen.
Right, because so during the pandemic, when people are fighting, like, open it up, and I'm like, okay, well, if you die, your people die, are you gonna be sad? Are you gonna be like, fuck, is it like maybe I shouldn't have fought? Like, I think everybody almost secretly wanted negative redemption to happen to people, or like vengeance.
They want like Florida's fine. Meanwhile, it's higher than whatever.
right, exactly. So
Most kids getting it, et cetera, et cetera.
yeah, but then now we have a terrible example, which is India. No one wants to talk about it. It's very sad. What?
India's gross. Like that's what their defense will be like. This is India,
Yeah, of
England, Germany, Canada.
Then
we're talking. Then Americans are like, well, they look like me. well, wait a minute. Australia, like hardy
by
whites.
By the way,
Bianca got a lot. Yeah, go ahead. Hit that song, please.
All right. I'm gonna talk to you. No, I'm sorry. Everybody in Australia that wrote me, a guy was like, I'm mid email. I'm so mad at you. I'm like,
Bianca
I'm really sorry
said
about
some
all that.
disparaging things about Australia last week, which I was blindsided by because I didn't think anyone could have a negative opinion about Australia. Like, what's not to like?
Well, we're not, I didn't touch the racism. We're not going there,
but
people.
it's not worse than American racism.
No, but what are you talking
But
about?
what country doesn't have it? It's like every country has some Aborigines, whether they call them that or not.
So
That was Bianca shouting out her black female listener friends, going like, "I need to defend you. Put up a fortress."
It just was like
Every
this is not about
country
this.
has racism.
It's just the previous conversation, nothing to do with race. I told some of the people that DM me, listen, you guys have gross, icky monsters there that I don't want to be around. I don't like spiders. I don't like
You're
scorpions.
talking about Aborigines? Go ahead.
Neal.
That's sorry. I that's my take on
He's
them.
silly. So that has really tarnished my view of Australia because it looks beautiful and all the coasts look lovely, but there are disgusting spiders hiding under every rock and shoe and pillowcase. I'm very scared of that.
That's like thinking that everyone if you go to LA, like you go outside, you're gonna see Arnold Schwarzenegger.
No, but every Australian friend of mine confirms it. There's spiders everywhere. There's flies everywhere.
That I cannot confirm or deny.
They're
Did you know
everywhere.
about the kangaroos fighting in neighborhoods?
So every time, this is from my Australian friends, they laugh at Americans like, yeah, there's not kangaroos jumping down the street. Americans are idiots. Why do they think there's kangaroos?
But they are. But there
Then
was video.
there's viral videos of them.
Yes.
Then Neal tagged me. But I don't know. Like, what the fuck? They tell me there's no kangaroos jumping down the street.
Your friends are lying to you. They don't want you to go to Australia.
Is that what's
They're
going
like,
on?
They don't.
Concerted
they
effort
don't
to
like
keep me out.
Panamanians. There's monsters everywhere, and
Australian
there are
guys
kangaroos. I don't know where you guys got that from. We don't even have them.
So it's mostly the scary shit, and I'm sorry for offending my Australians, but you can understand. I watch a lot of nature shows and a lot of nature docs. Every poisonous thing is from Australia. The most poisonous snake. Australia.
They're not in Melbourne though, on the high street.
You don't know that.
I do know. I do.
You don't.
I do. There's no poisonous rats in.
Oh, rats. No, I'm just talking about spiders.
Yes, spiders I can't speak to.
Okay.
Spiders can be anywhere, but the real bad ones are not in Melbourne or Sydney. They are actually doing a show at the Sydney Opera House, just spiders. It's
Anyway, that was my
it's
reason.
a
I
spider
was like, shut up,
philharmonic.
So-
It's all spiders, orchestra, conductor, audience, all spiders.
Anyways,
and
I'm sorry
they actually need to put in
to
bigger
my
seats
Aussies.
because the human seats aren't big enough for how
Okay.
fucking big these
Anyways,
spiders are.
I'm sorry I projected my insect phobia on your whole country. And I'm sorry.
I like you have two now. You have two sorry
It's
songs.
so funny. Thank
Also,
you.
you should apologize because a woman said that if I'd slipped her a note at Whole Foods, she would have liked it.
Okay, my defense is this.
Mm-hmm.
I was on maybe it was an elliptical or a treadmill at the gym, and I had my headphones on and I was doing my thing, and a guy came up and he just put his phone in front of me, and it was a note saying that he found me attractive and put my number there, and I wanted to die. I felt trapped. I'm at the fuck off. I'm at the gym, like, and I said, I stopped exercising. I'm like, oh no, I'm sorry. And then I thought that was so invasive and weird. So,
but if he's cute, people say it in your wedding toast. So
no,
you know
for
what
sure.
I mean?
And
Like,
I've always
that's
said that.
the-
I've always said it. Creepy. If you're attracted, creepy is romantic.
Yes.
And if you're not attracted to them, it's creepy. But that guy was good looking, and I still was like, God, I don't feel good at the gym.
Yeah,
so
I wouldn't do that to a woman ever. To a lady. Do you hear me?
You would never.
Ladies, are you listening? I would never disrupt you
maybe that-
getting in better shape for me.
But
Do you hear
maybe-
how I ruined it in my romance
No,
and
I
made
hear
it
how you
about
ruined it.
sexism?
But what if that girl would only take that phone, that Neal note from Neal because she's attracted to Neal, and maybe
Right, but
not
that's
take
the-
it from Will?
You said it as like
No
it
one
felt to me
cares
like you
about
said it like
me.
absolutely never do that. Any guy
Yes.
should never do that.
Because it feels like I don't have a choice to get out of this. You know?
Yeah, she put a fake number in. She got it. She showed me. Won't happen again, ma'ams. Ma'ams will not be doing that again. All right, now the service workage, service worker
do it.
shortage.
You can do it.
I don't know if I buy it or not.
I think everyone's making a really big deal out of this. To be like, see,
Yeah,
gave him too much money.
yeah.
It's like, nah, it wasn't that much money, first
Right.
of all.
Yeah, it's like
it wasn't enough to
$1,400. Is that the money? The $1,400
Yeah, the 1,400, the 600, and the 12. I'm like,
over 13 months? The fuck are you talking about?
And
It's
then
not like fuck you, boss. I just got $2,100. Suck my dick forever on all platforms.
that's like that I don't know, that similar scenario where they look and the lotto number is wrong. You know, they quit.
yeah.
I don't think anyone's doing. The problem is, okay, so the pandemic money, right? But also the unemployment, the federal unemployment, which has been $600 a week at the beginning, which was muy especial. And then it stopped for a while, and then it went to $300 a week. So people are saying that $300 a week, along with your unemployment, depending on which state you're in, has made people like not want to go back to work because
Right.
it's enough money. But I don't think it's
Obviously it's a Republican talking point to say if we do this, then they won't work. Lindsey Graham most recently brought it up, but
Lady G.
I don't know, man. This hurts my biases, meaning I don't want to think that I think people want to work. Like, I think
People
people
wanna
want to
work.
work.
The
They want
problem
a
is-
job that they aren't humiliated by. That's where the problem comes in.
Well, yeah, it's humiliated, and the minimum wage in some states that we can't find work. It's like you're paying them $2 an hour.
Yeah. I mean, not literally, but yeah.
Like it's
Those are states in China.
No. There's certain jobs that if you divide, like they'll pay you like, oh, it's $300 for
Yeah,
that. But if you
okay.
divide, it's like
Yeah.
you're not giving people a livable wage.
Yeah.
But you want them to come back and flip burgers for a job they're unappreciated. That's a poor person's job.
I think part of it is if do that and get COVID. Risk getting
COVID,
COVID
100%
is a big part of that, I believe. And then I've also seen articles where people just don't want to wait tables again. Like there's
Yeah.
just shit people don't want to do, and they'll do it. There's an old Jay Leno joke about his wife said that the cat was being finicky with food. And Leno goes, lock him in the closet for a week. Let's see how finicky he is. So in that regard, it's not going to last forever.
No, it's not. But it's just weird how all the right wing talking points come out saying like, oh, if we raise the prices will go up.
And labor, like job, unemployment didn't go down enough. They only added 200,000 jobs,
Right.
which if I'm the president, I'm like, it's a fucking lot of jobs. That's where it's an impossible job. Like, fuck you. 200,000 jobs, you
not
motherfuckers.
nothing.
Yeah.
So it just feels like let's shit on workers doing a very underappreciated job.
I don't think it's about that. I think it's about political football that they can use against Democrats for giving out too much money.
For sure.
Now they'll never come back.
Right. But the rhetoric ends up going obviously from politics down to like regular people being like, no one wants to work.
Yeah.
It's like people actually want to work.
Yeah. I'm still of the mind that people want to work. Do you know anything about this PPP loan thing?
Yeah.
A lot of black Instagram is talking about people going to jail for getting a lot of people.
Some people just applied for it and then just bought expensive. There's only like two famous situations. A guy got a PPP loan for his business and then bought like a Lamborghini or like a Rolex or something.
Well, he sounds great. It was DJ Khaled? No. No, apparently, I mean, like a lot of Philly, apparently there's a lot of people getting arrested.
Oh, your people?
Well, yeah.
Yo, people?
Yes, I grew up in Philadelphia with not exactly Philadelphia.
The thing is, I know people.
I grew up by the tennis courts. If I
By the
put it in a
by the
language,
court.
a language you understand.
They were
by
like,
the tennis courts.
There's a lot of fraud. Like I think so many people frauded the California EDD, the unemployment. Something like, I don't know. I think it's like $39 million in just fraudulent claims. So,
That's actually not that bad to me. If it's only 39 million, I'm like, it's all right. We got that.
or maybe 135. I don't know. I don't remember. But everyone's gonna find out. They don't have time.
This podcast is where facts come to die.
Yeah, they're gonna come.
We don't
for
know
you.
them. We don't know the facts. We know what we think we might have heard.
Well, I know. I read a thing that said the biggest fraud in California history has happened during unemployment, like during the pandemic, because so many people applied for it and they didn't have the manpower to interview you. So they approved everybody for unemployment without discretion.
Yeah, well, this goes to the thing I was saying. I bet there's a guy or woman out there who frauded the government out of loans and returned a dog after bought a dog with the loan,
right?
Then was like, fuck it, I'm returning it. Give me a rebate. Give me my refund for this dog. I didn't want this dog. That people are. This is why we just have to constantly be looking at monitoring each other, like, which I don't like, but apparently we're not that moral.
Now.
The longer I do this podcast, the less moral I think people are. Elon Musk. Hosts Saturday Night Live. I didn't see a frame of it, but I remember last week or 2 weeks ago, I called him an Asperger's case. You guys laughed like I was being mean, and it was a bridge too far. And then he said, and then someone even tried to write something on Twitter about it. And then he said, I have Asperger's. Yeah. Which is, you can tell when someone has, that's my point, is you can tell when someone has, thank you. Will, crushing it.
Good one, Neal.
Yeah. So, yeah, you can tell when people have Asperger's. You can tell when people have borderline personality disorder. You can tell when people are bipolar.
You can't always tell. Maybe you can tell. Borderline,
I can't tell by looking at them. Borderline, I can tell by
you can tell
dating
autism,
them.
but yeah, borderline is like, oh, I'm an asshole, and you worship the ground I walk on, depending on your mood.
Borderline is San Francisco weather. We're like, what?
Yeah,
we were just fucking, and 30 seconds later, you're accusing me of taking money from your ATM account. That's borderline.
Borderline is weird.
Yeah. Shit that you cannot, the accusations are so wild. It seems like you're lying because you're trying to even understand what they're accusing you of.
Yeah, I got home from work. I dated someone who has borderline. He doesn't know he does, but he does. And
now.
he's not listening. And I got home from work from the store, and I'm like, I smell like alcohol.
We've all seen it. It's not pretty. Go ahead.
And I was like, okay, I'm gonna go take.
I
shots.
turn the other way when I see it at the store after 11. Like, when I want no part of this.
So I remember I came home to his. I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna take a shower first before like we hang out or have, like eat or whatever. He was like, wow, really? A shower? I'm like, yeah. What's the problem? It's just weird, strange. And did you think I just got like a bukkake done to me? I'm like, I just came from a place. I smell like red wine. And he was like, I've just never heard of someone doing that.
I love shit like that. I just never in all my day. You've never heard of someone taking a shower when they get home.
Okay.
Ever? And you can't convince them that that's a fucking crazy thing to say.
It's the, and you know, then this is the most infuriating energy is, oh, okay. No,
Take a shower. No, I want you to take a shower now. If you want to take one, I don't want to go away.
It's like you've lost before you stepped foot in the house. I was already going to lose. It didn't matter. It was just,
There's no winning.
there's no winning. It's weird. It's, sorry if someone's going through or diagnosed with borderline. I'm not trying to say you're weird, but it's really weird for the person dating you. Because you're like, why am I?
But they don't remember it.
Oh,
Is
no.
a weird thing.
Oh.
I had an ex who, so Keith occasionally would do incredible things where he would eat stuff that he would just get out and get into food that was like, one time he got out of a kennel cage and I came in the garage and he's standing at the top of the steps and I just looked at him and I go, how'd you do it? So he would eat stuff he wasn't supposed to eat. And my ex at the time was like, I think he just does stuff and like doesn't remember it. And I was like, no, he remembers because he knows I'm mad and he knows why I'm mad.
Right.
And she was talking about herself.
Yeah. Oh, wait, she's projecting herself onto Keith.
Literally like, oh, I've done this. I've not eaten stuff, but I've done fucked up shit. Like gone through your phone, etc. And like, but I don't remember it.
Which is why that one particular ex, when we have talked, very rosy recollection of the relationship. I'm like, you're a bullet. I dodge you. You're baggage. You're what people get baggage from. I didn't date you that long, so it was fine. But
I follow an Instagram account called narcissistic sociopath abuse. And it's great.
That's amazing.
Just constant things about like, it was them. It was not you. The only thing you do is eject. There's a woman who just does narcissism YouTube videos now.
Wait, and she's a narcissist or?
What's funny is she's become a narcissist over time.
No.
I think
Do you think narcissism is something that can just be, you can fall into, or do you think true narcissism is? Because it's hard not to be narcissistic if you're getting a lot of attention.
That's
you know what I mean?
selfish.
I know it's selfish, but do you think there's a way to mimic?
I think there is, but I don't have proof.
You've been around people that aren't probably true narcissists.
I've been around narcissists. I've been around people that got a lot of attention and it made their narcissism worse. I've been around people who just got a lot of attention and it just made them selfish. It's also a chicken egg thing. Yeah. Like, as Greg Fitzsimmons says, only the true narcissist succeeds in show business. And I think he's right. It's like, what came first?
But is that account for narcissists, or is it for the people that dated them or are in their lives?
Meaning?
Is the content geared towards like
it's not for narcissists. Because narcissism, I've said on here, they have the disease, you get all the side effects.
So shit.
It's like,
good job, Neal.
it's a really good one, Neal.
Good one, Neal.
Will, I'm waiting.
Neal.
We're waiting for this.
Good one, Neal.
Yes. They also die. No one ever recovers from it. No one wants to recover from it.
But narcissism is also awful for the narcissist in their head. They're not living a great life.
I don't think that
it's not like high fives. Do you know what I mean?
I don't think that's ever communicated to them. It never gets to them because they've got so many narcissistic layers in front of them.
Right.
The message never gets to them.
But okay, so the one narcissist I've dated was infinitely harder on himself. I think deep in an internal way that wasn't always outward, but him not achieving some like grandiose level of whatever, he took so hard in a very strange way. Like it was like, it was almost
they
like
do
I
get
was,
like
it's like I
bang, they'll like bang their heads against walls, shit like that.
It was
They,
like
hit themselves with shoes, shit like that as well.
It wasn't that crazy, but it was. It's as if he was crying because he didn't become president. Like weird stuff. I'm like, why would you have achieved that? You didn't do anything towards.
But
this.
then they
What's going on with you?
cheat on you with some hot girl, and they're like,
That didn't happen.
they're like that you know of, and they're like, I'm back.
Right.
They get very I learned on the website, when you deprive them of their narcissistic supply, they can't function. They just find it somewhere else. They just literally find like go to the club.
No matter the quality.
Yeah, just go to the club. Anyone. Warm body.
Yeah.
Warm body that'll spend time with me. So in that way, you're right that would be a hell to a healthy person.
Yeah,
but they don't know any better.
Yeah, that's good.
And if they're talented, they can find those people. If they're talented in the world and they're popular or famous, they can there's a never-ending supply of narcissistic supply. Narcissistic supply. Oh, so you know the Kentucky Derby horse that won
Brianna
is on drugs.
Says
did you
who?
hear-
It was Gatorade.
It was. Thank you very much.
Nyquist. These. Oh, it's so long.
How is that Breonna Taylor related? Medina Spirits.
Oh, then she's not the. Maybe they have other.
They have undercards.
Or maybe they have a lot of
Undercards.
races.
Yeah, I think it. Yeah.
No, the main one was Brianna.
No, that's the main one. The main one is the one that got in
then
trouble.
who's Brianna?
Horse named Brianna. Won 4 Thursday.
Race
at
4.
Oh yeah, race 4. That's on Thursday. Fuck out of here. With the, so great. Yeah. So here's somebody said called the horse a junkie, which is very funny. You know who said it? Donald Trump.
That's really
fucking funny guy.
How did you get that message? He's on Facebook.
I believe he released a statement.
He did
I
not.
swear to God.
No, he didn't.
I swear to God.
Junkie, dude. Didn't even write.
Bizarre statement. He released a bizarre statement.
Please, can we see it?
Actually, all of his statements, when he released his statement, he goes, "Hey, we should release a bizarre statement." They're all bizarre.
Deep thoughts on the winner? That's so. Why does he have deep thoughts on the winner?
Yeah.
What is happening?
Is a
to our
junkie.
country?
It's what's happening to our country. The whole world is laughing at us. We go to hell on our borders, our fake presidential election, and everywhere else.
Oh my God, he's.
What are you talking
losing it.
about?
That's
The whole world's dying of COVID, dog. The whole world's not laughing at us. Or it's certainly not about, America, you mean where the horses are on drugs?
So now
All
even-
of the horses that run competitively are on drugs.
Everyone in
They're
athletics.
all on, every single athlete in the world is
Is on
on drugs
Calm down.
in some way, shape, or form.
they do what they can to-
anti-inflammatory, just shit that's legal. Even when the guy said, the owner goes like, so the horse tested positive for such and such, and then he's like, which if you know, and he had such ease with the term. They're just constantly like, put this in, geesh, put this in, geesh, just constant. I'm on fucking some shit right now.
You're on some shit.
So
What do we know if that's like a actual interesting drug? It's just
like
one
it
they can't
doesn't
be.
make you cool and talkative.
Cool and talkative.
Doesn't make you
It's
open
so
a club.
funny.
Doesn't make you a club promoter.
It's a corticosteroid.
It's a steroid.
Oh, okay.
Corticosteroid, which they give. Yeah, it's for when you have
allergies.
suppress inflammation. Yeah. So
He was probably injured.
tested positive for Claritin.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all injured. They're
that's what I'm
not
saying.
supposed to do this.
Of course they're not.
So they're not supposed to be built. It's just all of it's wrong. So it's just a matter of like, we're going to prosecute this one wrong that we all just said, okay. Yeah, it reminds me of an old tweet. I just watched the Kentucky Derby, and the winner, as usual, was white people. Syndicated, Will. Syndicated. Beautiful.
Ooh.
You're getting there. The guy fucked you with the vocal by pre-lapping the vocal under the second piano note, but you'll deal with that. Here's something. This is a new segment called Here's Something. Kat, the great Kat Keen, who is a producer of the show now, apparently, she pointed out that we have so many heavy topics, we should lighten up sometimes. I feel like this week's been pretty light because there were no black people getting shot or arrested for no reason. And so how about a little like show and tell, a little like, did you see this?
No, it's just so Kat wants us to take a break from racism.
Yes.
Easy
Yes.
for you, Kat.
Yes. Kat, thank you. So this is called, this segment's called, Did You See This? Which is what Jay Leno used to say underneath setups of jokes. Did you see this?
Yeah, to Kevin.
Did you see this? Will, do you have an audio of that?
Drop it in.
You have a
tried.
bad version, right?
Anybody see this?
Yeah, you get it.
So bad. Leave that in.
We'll just call it Anybody See This Story? That's the name of the segment now. Just
Anybody see this?
Anybody See This Story? That's the name of the segment. That's literally, don't change anything. May get slightly better at it, but
We like goofs are
But-
gold. Goofs
did anybody
gold.
see the story?
Anybody see this?
Jay Leno.
You love him.
Let me say something about Jay Leno.
Okay.
Very quickly.
Okay.
Jay Leno called a comedian friend of mine who was doing a late night show. And he said, you know what I like about when you do your jokes? Even if you don't like a joke, you'll stare down the barrel of the camera. You know, I don't know how you feel about the joke. He goes, when so-and-so doesn't like a joke, he looks up and to the right. When so-and-so doesn't like a joke, he looks down and to the left. He knew everyone's tell.
That's funny.
Like, that's the level. When people are like, that guy's not funny, I'm like, that guy's so fucking advanced comically,
Right.
you don't even know what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah.
Anyhow. Anybody see the story?
Anybody see this?
What's
So
yours?
during the pandy,
Pandy.
the price changes. Well, if you'll go on Axios. Okay. So these are things I could have done a quiz. Fuck. All right, we'll do a quiz.
I didn't look.
Oh, okay, good. All right, so these things we'll just go
The first one
scroll
I saw,
down.
but
All right, so
nothing
you saw no, Will. I want to do a quiz where I ask Bianca what happened to what. Anybody see the story?
Ooh, this is like Price is Right when you have to see if
Yes,
it's
you saw the
plus or
first
less.
one. Laundry equipment went up how much percent during the pandemic? Things went up a certain amount because there was such demand for it.
Okay.
How much did laundry equipment
I
go
saw
up?
already. So
Tell the people.
2.9.
29%.
JK. 20. I guess I didn't see the decimal.
You got Asperger's. Congratulations. Car and truck rental.
Oh, rental. 20.
24%. Car and truck rental
I
went
didn't
up.
go over Price is Right rules.
Major appliances. You have to be within 3 plus or
3%, okay.
minus.
27.
19%.
Fuck, I was gonna. Okay.
Did you buy any of this shit?
No.
I rented a
I rented a
RV.
You did not rent an
It's a
RV.
long story. It was for an ayahuasca thing. You wouldn't understand.
Okay. Go.
And major appliances. What did I buy? I bought a bunch of knives and
Which you buy
major
knives
appliances. No.
But people did.
Yeah.
I just thought it was more because people did a lot of baking.
Yeah.
And
That's
the-
all right. Okay. I did buy a pan. Sur La Table was going out of business, so I dropped by.
Did you get the Our Place pan?
What's that? The copper one?
No, I just bought this fucking pan and I don't love it.
What's
It's
the deal?
It's like a hipster fucking pan that is everywhere. And my friends had it. I'm like,
Drives a fixie. It's that cool. Is it that cool a pan?
it drives a fucking fixie. And when I got it, it's like don't
Armband.
As,
Drives a fixie.
as soon as I got it, the instructions were like, don't make it too hot. Don't put it in the oven. Don't
make
scratch.
it. Don't do pan shit with it.
I was like, okay, fuck you.
Next one is a little weird. Propane, kerosene, and firewood
I'm gonna
went
say
up how much percent?
15.
Nailed it.
100%.
I'm gonna suck your dick from the back.
Oh, please
That's what
do.
happens. Go, Will. Pork chops. What percentage did pork chops go up?
I'm gonna go with 9.
Ooh, 11. 9/11. Never forget. She got it.
9/11. Never. Forget. You should be a host.
Used cars and trucks. Used cars and trucks. Not a rental. Purchases of used cars and trucks.
It couldn't be that much. Couldn't be. 12.
10. You're really doing some things.
I'm really
Doing
good
big
at.
barks with your mouth. Okay. Now what? Now some things went down.
Okay. I was thinking of these.
Women's dresses went down how much percent?
30.
14.
Fuck. What's wrong with these bitches?
Suck my dick from the back.
I'll suck your dick from the back. Ladies.
Public transportation.
Oh.
I guess they lowered prices. I didn't know they could lower prices, but they did.
There's no price on the buses here, because
Really?
the
It's
driver
just pay what it's a
No.
it's a GoFundMe.
No, it's because the driver
Crowdfunding?
doesn't want you to walk by them, so
Oh,
you
that's
can't pay.
interesting.
So you go.
I
in the
bet
back.
you know what's funny is I bet they didn't want you to before.
Now they're like, fine. They have seat belts. You just can't sit in the front.
Yeah.
Public transportation probably down 18.
15.
I'm 3.
That's it. Yeah, it's 3. So I'll suck your dick.
Thank you.
Men's suits.
Oh, 30. Let me go back to 30.
17.
I'm confused. Who's buying
Tell me
suits?
about it. Telephone hardware. Now, I don't know if that's cell phone or landline. I'm
landline.
assuming it's got to be, because I can't imagine landlines didn't go down 100%.
100%.
I'm gonna say, gosh, 12.
20.
Fucker.
Airline fares went down how much percent?
It's 21.
25. Just out of the window. Just out of the suck my dick window.
Damn it.
So did you see this? Did you see this? What's the name of the thing?
Anybody see this? Right?
Hey, let me see the story.
That was good. That's interesting.
Suck my dick.
So aggressive.
Wild.
Wild. I'm surprised at some of these.
Yeah,
Men's
it's interesting.
suits. What?
Men's suit. I would. Yeah. Women's dresses.
Maybe, you know what though? On sale stuff. So it didn't go down that much. Women knew they'd be wearing dresses soon. They knew.
They played
we
the
knew.
long game. Yeah, I don't know what to make of it. I always find it fascinating. You know what I bought at the beginning of the pandemic that cost me more?
What?
Weights. Physical weights for
Yeah.
my fucking body.
Yeah.
Somebody came at me about my body and I just wrote like, lady, I promise you I'm in better shape than you. The weights, I bought them used because I play tennis, but I don't play
but
tennis. You know what I mean?
You see why.
And the weights, I was like, they doubled in like 3 months, the beginning of the pandemic.
Oh, it's
Weights,
insane.
literally just heavy shit doubled in value.
Heavy shit.
Heavy shit with handles doubled. Milk skyrocketed. No, but yeah, that's the thing I bought that I was like, fuck.
Yeah, I went to do that and they only had 10-pound ones, which was fine.
Mm-hmm.
And I paid,
You'll get there. You'll work up to it. Yeah, go ahead.
and I'm glad there was nothing available. Because I would have bought a lot and then
You really only needed 10.
No, I just realized I don't like working out my house.
Interesting.
I don't go hard. I get tired and I'm like, this is stupid.
I love it because I love doing my skivvies like Bikram. I put on a Speedo and get to work like Bikram.
Stop saying
I
Bikram.
harass women like Bikram.
Stop saying Bikram.
2 B's, Bikram.
Mine.
I'm reminded of a Dave
Oh,
Attell
wow.
joke from the 90s,
Love a
which
Dave Attell.
was I went to the gym and they had 2-pound weights.
No.
And my first thought was,
Oh yeah, they do.
whoever's lifting that, how did you get into the gym? How did you open the door to get into the gym?
Wait, how does that? What does David tell?
He
working
did
there.
that joke.
Oh, that was him.
Yeah. Yeah. In the 90s.
Do you want me to tell you? Do mine?
Yes. Did you see the story?
Anybody see this story?
So there's like a girl made a TikTok because Ben Affleck, she matched with Ben Affleck on Raya. And then, I don't know, she got freaked out, unmatched. And then Ben Affleck sent her a video being like, hey, Darlene, why'd you unmatch me? And then that was it. On Instagram. Found her
I
on
literally
Instagram.
can't even watch I watched that one by accident and I found it so wrong.
It was so I do not, like, it's so mean. Unmute
Yeah, I don't
it.
want to watch this.
Oh, I kind of do. Oh, this is.
I can't. No, I hate it. I hate it so much.
I hate it. He turned different. It feels so fucked up. We all have dirty laundry, but if I took your dirty underwear and put it on Instagram, we're all going to be like, ew, yuck.
This is, by the way,
nice. It was
I
not nice.
defended celebrities when I maybe shouldn't have. It's shit like this where people
not
just
nice.
they just use them as it's like the amount of people DiCaprio was gay, just all the shit I've been hearing for so long, and then friends it's just it's.
Wait, so where are you? I can't tell where you are going.
Affleck
here.
and
Affleck.
Matt,
Okay.
it happened to Matt Perry too.
It's so mean.
It's just fucking wrong. Like,
It's such a violation.
you match with them. So what's the problem? So your age limit is 55. So his age limit's his age limit's 18.
Right, which is whatever.
Why is what he did wrong and what you did fine? Why would you put him on blast? And you know where it leads to? I think,
Why?
and this has to, I don't think that it's all the women posting about it and shit is
Your friend called him out. Why
Chrissy
though?
did,
I don't
great.
get it.
Oh,
What-
Chrissy did? Oh, bad. I know. I hate her. It's just wrong.
It's so
It's
wrong.
like
It's
wrong
so
for you to
mean.
put them on blast. And if you want to change the legal age for women, change it. Otherwise, or change the laws where a 50-year-old can't try to fuck a 19-year-old. Because what you're saying is women are being taken advantage of by a guy if he's above a certain age. It's literally they're powerless. Meanwhile, Madonna's dating a 20-something-year-old. She's 60.
Yeah.
That's empowerment. Meanwhile, gay dudes, the age disparity in gay dudes, like fucking wild, like everything else. No one can. Women aren't mad about that. If your 45-year-old friend is like, I'm fucking a 20-year-old. Yes, queen. It's because women think that every woman's being taken advantage of in some way, which is like, are they or are? I thought we were all equal. Are they using their fame and power?
Right.
'Cause she's
I'm with
using
you,
her
but
looks.
no, for sure. I'm actually fully with you, but like, women are being taken advantage in a lot of ways. This is not one of them.
Yeah, I don't.
So,
Women are not paid as well as the shit like that and sexual assault and all that stuff.
I
but
just don't. This is, to me, it's cruel. It made me feel
it is.
very bad. It's cruel.
Like it's doxing them basically.
It's doxing them. Also, you wouldn't want it to happen to you. Let's
Nope.
just say if you were, it was put on your, I don't know, town's bulletin board, whatever your version
Yeah.
of being doxed for the, and I don't.
And
I
again,
hated,
if
I
they
hated
get
the whole-
married, it's adorable.
No, that's just awful if they get married.
Now
be like,
that
Ben,
she
what the
doxed him, but if he said, "Why do you want to follow me?" and like he really showed passion and he really cared about me, follow me over a different app. Like we met on one app.
I will say, if someone unmatches you, don't find them and ask them why. Not good.
I
Ben.
mean, you've never been horny as a man.
He doesn't need to do that.
Yeah, but
It's pretty cute.
You go, I got this girl and whatever.
Right.
You want that specific person.
These are weird.
Look, so it's wrong, and I think it makes when adult women go like, this is wrong. It's like, what's the fucking law? Change the law. Chrissy should go to fucking the governor and or the senator or the mayor, or if you really are that offended by it, go to them. Go. And then go get Madonna while you're rounding up fools.
Right.
And then go get scores of gay guys, 55-year-old gay guys who are fucking 22-year-old gay guys.
I just think as a celebrity, you're always on guard to not just be in this position.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. It felt like it's like so easy. I mean,
Well, the Rayas, there's a ton of women on Raya that are famous that I wouldn't be like, guys,
right?
look who it is. Get the fuck out of here. Again, it's
very
always
corny. It's just
men generally do not snitch like that because we will have to fight.
women are very good
other
at not
men.
snitching too.
But all
you.
the snitches of the last couple of years have been women and gay dudes.
Wow.
Because they don't have to fight anybody. Or they have
Anybody
to
see
fight
this
people.
story?
Okay.
Anybody see the story? That was Anybody See the Story?
Anybody see this story?
Wow. If our whole podcast was as funny as making a segment called Anybody See the Story and keeping the audio, we'd really
You'd be on.
be. We wouldn't be doing this podcast. Let me put it to you like this. Critical race theory, not worth talking about. Too serious. Take the note. Take the note.
Races off the table, y'all.
No
Cat
races,
said.
guys. No race this week, huh? Let's give it a rest, huh? Critical race theory. We won't get into it. But there was some Foxmania about critical race theory.
Listen,
they went nuts.
It's weird to. What do you want people to talk? I don't get it. I'm like, if something's racist, let's just call it racist.
Right. Their
It makes
critical
people-
race theory.
Originally-
I promised myself I wouldn't do this. That is like a Neil Brennan fucking sting operation
I was
where
like,
someone's having a racial
I was like,
conversation. I'm
well,
like,
you know-
wait, what? Sir, you're wrong, and here's why.
If you want to seduce Neil,
Yes,
be like,
literally.
critical race
Yeah.
theory.
You want to watch a documentary about race? Oh, I'm already hard. I didn't think I could get any harder. It basically says that critical race theory says that racism informs every single thing in America in its history and today. And I'm prone to agree with it
Yeah.
to a degree.
But I also think they're not going to sit there and be like, everyone's evil. You know, there's ways to teach it so people understand our history. The problem is we have such a whitewashing of our history and like glazing over. Like, these were hunters and gatherers. Like, we skip a lot of the massacre to like natives. We skip a lot of
School's not long enough. 12 years you couldn't cover it in 12 years.
If we just learned that, would not have covered
I'd
it.
still be in 4th grade. this age, this size.
Size. So it also is in the South. It's just bad writing. In the South, no, we can't teach it. You can't say anything. You cannot blame anything on bigoted history. So it's like,
It's silly. It's an overcorrection on both sides. We're gonna have a very boring segment called Overcorrection Police, where we just go, that's an overcorrection. We don't explain it. Overcorrection. So that's critical race theory. We solved it. And let's go to Doc Watch. Pretty great. Thank you,
really
listeners.
wanted to see Lucy, but I've already seen a thing on her on the Chimp. But was it good?
Yes.
Okay.
It was good. Animal people are weird. I mean, any animal trainers I've dealt with, very weird. Did I ever tell you the story about we had a monkey on Chappelle's show in an episode where Dave was just like, I just feel like it'd be funny if I just walked around with a monkey.
Another
Dave Chappelle
story from Neal.
It's
It's
too long. It
I was
just.
trying to shorten it.
What happened? Didn't you? Did you? Was that
I don't
your
think it's
shortened version?
shortenable.
It's just another
starts-
beat. Cut the beat. Just fucking chop it.
Yeah. Chop and screw.
Here's another Dave Chappelle story, which is he used to say, you would cut me out of the show if you could, because I love fucking chopping shit down. Not the podcast. That goes at 2:30.
Oh, come on now.
But
So
we had a
when-
monkey,
you had a
and we
monkey.
try to just do a remote with him just walking around with a monkey. and it just didn't work. It
Why?
was like,
It was just-
it just wasn't. You kind of got to do shit. You have to
Right.
like go to the gun range. It's like why on reality shows, like we're going to hot air ballooning. It's just so you have a thing to cut to and
Right.
whatever. And there's like the beginning, the middle, and the end of the hot air balloon. The monkey passed out at one point.
Why?
Well, for some reason, he was wearing a do-rag and a chain at this point, and I can't remember why.
It's so funny.
It sounds very
It
funny.
sounds very funny.
It just didn't work.
Okay.
And the fucking Beastie Boys gave us Brass Monkey for 10 grand.
That's a
Still didn't
steal.
work. Absolute steal. They never licensed this to anybody.
Right.
Absolute steal. It still
Is there a
didn't
way
work.
to splice it so that it's funny?
Not real. It just wasn't. Not enough happened. I don't know.
It would be
Interesting thing though, my therapist saw me while we were shooting it, which is so
She was
fucking
like,
funny.
is
Me, Dave, and a monkey and cameras walking around. Monkey passes out. I believe the monkey's name was Ngayo.
Ngayo.
Yeah. So
I
the
love
monkey passed out, and
that.
the trainer kept going like, Ngayo starts giving the monkey mouth to mouth. And when I tell you, it was very hard for me and Dave and some of the costume women to not laugh our fucking asses off. Giving mouth to mouth to a monkey wearing a do-rag and a chain. It was very funny.
Now there's a sketch.
Yes, it was very funny. So we
Yeah,
can't
right.
laugh. So it was that lady was weird. The documentary is
Ngayo.
interesting. Like the way she said it, like guy, and literally like little slapped him on the monkey cheek. So and he's wearing a do-rag and a chain. I remember Dave did a joke. Every time I come around your tree, bling bling. When he had the monkey in the chain, that might have been the best joke in the whole piece. Anyhow, animal people are weird, and it's the lady's kind of weird, and so it's interesting sociological to just watch this kind of weird lady recount a time in her life where she lived on an island with 10 monkeys by herself for 6 years.
It's hard not to be weird. People are weird after
Yes.
the pandemic.
Yes, agreed.
It's like,
Yeah, I don't know
Re-socialize.
exactly what you're talking about, but yeah, like, so that's interesting.
did you ever watch that? It's like actually like it's a Giannis. It's in the Giannis collection, but it was the one like when Coco the monkey was smaller. It was like in
Maybe.
the 80s and 90s. There's like that one scene where she's with 3 chimps and they're all, or gorillas, and they're all in the car. They're both, all 3 of them have their seatbelts on. They're just like,
Perfect.
it's
Meme it.
so
Meme it,
fun.
everybody.
Meme it.
Meme it.
And it's all weird. It's kind of weird to be, I think you have to be, like you were saying, to be good at a sketch show, you have to be a maniac.
Yeah.
To be good at,
We were talking before the show. We said
we do talk.
when you do a sketch, to do a good sketch comedy show, you have to be a maniac.
Right. And
That's the long. I mean,
because I was like,
that's
well, what
the
if you're
short
good
version
at
of
this?
the-
And what if you're good at this?
You
And he was
gotta
like,
have a
you
maniac
gotta
or
be-
4 maniacs in every sketch.
Yeah. So to be these like animal people, these like lifelong animal people, you got to be a little.
They're just a different vibration where
Yeah.
at one point it's just interesting. Like at one point she had to like convert Lucy to monkey food because she lived with people and then she got them from the people and whatever. She had to convert it to monkey food, and she was like at the end of her rope and like screaming and sobbing and passes out. And then when she woke up, Lucy was eating the monkey food. Like, all right, fucking fine. I didn't know you were gonna fucking pass out. So there's moments like that. There's a thing where she said like at night weird shit would happen,
Like what?
like God shit,
Like what?
like ayahuasca God shit.
Shut up.
There were like I don't know if it was leopards were on the island, but there were animals that could have killed her, never touched her, or the monkeys. Just cool. Like she's like, I was protected.
Yeah, there's my friend used to, I guess he lived on a farm and they had a bunch of animals, but they only had 1 pig. I don't know why. They weren't going to kill it, whatever. none of the animals would eat. They would all feed them at the same time, and none of them would eat until the pig was done eating.
Yeah,
And
there's
then he
shit
would-
like that where you're like, man,
you're
that's
like,
fucking unbelievable.
What's happening
Yeah,
here?
it's
The
like
pig
those
was like
where
the king.
where the roosters will circle another dead rooster, and you're like, guys, I don't know what's happening. I'm gonna give you guys
Ayahuasca.
15, and then I'll come back. This seems like turkey shit, and that's got nothing to do with me. And then have fun, and we'll see you
Right.
at
This
the next.
is your business.
Yeah, this is between you and the turkey. So it's worth watching. And then there's another one on HBO Max called Generation Hustle.
I was gonna start it, but it looked a little cheesy.
There's like 8 of them.
Yeah.
Which right there, I'm like, what? These aren't very, they can't be good. Over 4. And you're like, what are you guys doing?
Right.
And it's just about scam artists.
Yeah.
But the problem is,
They're all like young.
yes, they're a little sexier, but the problem is in my experience, the first episodes, they're like,
Yeah.
their titties. Like, huh? This is you like this? You're gonna get more of this. That's their hottest shit. Wasn't that hot?
Yeah,
Wasn't
someone
hot
was
enough.
like,
It was-
yo. And then they explained it to me. And I was like, this sounds like Metabolife. Just like a.
Well, yeah, you can't treat an honest man. They all want to make money quickly. So, but it's more like they didn't get the person doing the scam. They didn't get the good they didn't get the person you need, or they didn't have enough footage of the person.
You know what's a good one? It seems like a new, flashier version of American Greed. And American Greed is so good. I'm like, why would I watch this?
Is that the one Keith? That guy Keith is the voiceover guy. American Greed. Yeah,
Yes.
it's Keith. What's his name from
From
Dateline or from
no, he's not. That's not. It's a different guy. Different voice. Than
Keith Raniere. No, Keith Raniere is the.
No, it's
guy from
I know
Dixon.
he's the one that what's his face would do his impressions so good. Who's
Dunnigan.
no. He did.
It's not American. It's Stacey Keach. Interesting.
It wasn't the other.
American Greed. Yeah.
He's very no. Who's the comic that? God, I feel bad. Very good at impressions. The best impression.
Jeff.
So Jeff did the Dateline dudes. Have you ever seen him do the Dateline dudes bit? He's like, and it was that handkerchief.
That's Keith.
Like,
yeah.
that's
funny.
it's so good.
Yeah.
How do you know this guy? Like, you're like, oh,
He
Stacy.
was a big
Wait, what?
actor in the 80s. You know, when there's like a big actor, like, you know, if you're like Tom Selleck, you're like,
Yeah.
why are you famous? There's those like CBS guys
Right.
that are not appealing. They're not like sexy,
Scoot down, go to
fucking
films.
the hottest guy you've ever seen.
Right.
They're more like masculine and relatable. And Stacey Keach was just on a bunch of shit in the 80s that was big.
Yeah. Caribe. Jesus of Nazareth. Blue and the Gray. I'm like, never
Blue
heard.
and the Gray was a big
You've
one.
heard- you've
Mike
heard of that?
Hammer. That was Mike Hammer, 84 to 87.
The new Mike Hammer.
Yeah, he did the old Mike Hammer, the new Mike
What
Hammer.
is Mike Hammer?
Some private eye shit.
Hilarious.
Just a
Everything was
brand, a
private eye.
brand. I mean, look, face it, the Equalizer is a private eye. I mean,
What
let's
about the
face it.
Negotiator?
The Negotiator, not private, but and Generation Hustle, not good enough.
Not good.
Sorry, Generation Hustle, you were not good enough. Let's do some emails, Will.
Wow.
It's time to check that email.
Hey, Neal, Binks, Will, active listener here, Ma, and thanks for the podcast. I actually just moved to the LA area, and I just got my hair cut for the first time. Like, in
Pause it
all
real
of
quick.
COVID.
He's already got LA energy.
Yeah. He
Just moved to LA. Just moved
down
to
the
the LA
street.
area
Yeah.
and doing a show. If you want to come, here's a flyer. Faye, we should follow each other. Team follow back. Go ahead. Sorry, I'm just shitting on this guy. He's nice.
And I went to a local neighborhood barber shop that turned out to be a black barber shop.
Yes.
Large, high-quality pictures on the wall of like historical black hairstyles.
Sure.
And everything was going great for like the first 20 minutes. They get me in the chair. The guy's super nice. He and I are talking about fishing, and he actually like invites me to go fishing with him like in a couple
It's a trap.
weekends. But then he reveals that he believes that Melinda just broke up with Bill Gates because she discovered that they're putting nanobots in the COVID vaccine or something. And I didn't know what to say to that. And so I didn't push back on it because I didn't want him to like make me look like a clown in the barber chair. But I also realized that's something I feel very strongly about not being true and would absolutely like push back on or call my friends out on or like somebody I knew regardless.
I know
of
where
their
he's
race.
going. You can we can answer this right now.
If it was said to me
He's
in
black.
that context. But
What he's asking is, what do you do about black men's penchant for conspiracy theories? As a friend, what do you do?
Right.
And or as a guy in a barbershop surrounded by black dudes, he was smart not to say anything. You have to have a wider breadth as a white person. Every black guy I know has some crazy OJ belief, just some crazy. I mean, not half the sketches, but that we did that sketch where Dave's on jury selection for all the trials.
Yeah.
Because it was just like this. That's enough. This is fucking crazy.
From Neal.
I eventually you'll come to argue with them about it, but it's gonna take a year.
Yeah.
Of comfort, and also understanding why wouldn't black guys believe conspiracy,
or just distrust everything that goes on in this country.
Like that's what it comes down to. It's like, yeah,
Just distrust. So if you look at it like that, one, you can just also,
Yes.
but I also believe in, I don't know how he would go about it, but I think you can, especially in a barbershop, you can have a discussion.
There's
It's kind
no
of
better
where
place to have it.
You have discussions. So you could be like, you really believe that? Like, you really, like, what makes you, I don't know.
He's the only white guy in a black barbershop.
dude.
That's not the time to
Go
start.
fishing with him.
Go fishing, and that's when you go, yo, what the fuck? But you just have to. The amount of pretty much every black guy I know believes something that if a white guy believed it, I'd be like, you're fucking out of your mind. You're absolutely the number of OJ conspiracies I've heard. I mean, Tuskegee happened. The nanobot, like just 5G, like the shit where you're just like, okay, I don't.
So if a white person said something like that to you,
I'd scream at them. And you know me, I really would. The amount of one of them said, one of them meaning a incredibly famous black dude said, COVID will be over as soon as the election, November 5th. If a white person did that, I would stick their face in a toilet.
okay. You being violent is so funny.
It's the best. I put the money down into the weights. I'm getting this money back one way or the other. So anyhow, good question. And welcome to LA. Kid.
Goodbye.
See you at the auditions, kid. May the best man win.
You've got mail.
Hello, Nick and Bianca. This is the bipolar guy who called in once before. Thanks so much for being so nice about all that bipolar stuff. LSTNER. The reason I'm calling, I am very envious of Neal's spirit.
I think he's bipolar, and we're just gonna have to take it.
Or he's like a narc. He's like with the FBI, like, hey, Nick and Bianca,
all the cool shit.
LSR.
Is this where the cool people are?
Yeah.
I am
Willie,
very
the
envious
producer.
of Neal's spirit padre status and his feeling that there is most certainly some sort of an afterlife beyond what we see. As a bipolar person, I am told that I cannot take ayahuasca. So would you say to somebody like myself who is interested in trying to achieve a higher conscious understanding of the universe, but cannot partake in ayahuasca? Or am I just shit out of luck? Thanks a lot.
Can you, if you have bipolar, if you're diagnosed with bipolar disorder, can you take other psychedelics?
I mean, I think you can. I think
What about
it's.
what did we?
I mean,
read?
I know. You can take mushrooms. Like I don't take my word for it.
No, for sure. But what did we read before we were gonna do ayahuasca? That what was the reason? Because I know you were paying attention because
There's a
Zoloft.
very obvious one for SSRIs, which is if you're on SSRIs and you take ayahuasca, your brain releases so much serotonin that something can happen called serotonin syndrome.
Okay.
Where you kind of overdose on serotonin.
Oh my God.
It happens. It's happened like once.
But there is a risk.
But there is a risk. And the serotonin syndrome.
What is so it releases all the serotonin
Yeah.
and then what happens? It just.
You're like, I think you're paralyzed. Look it up.
Wait, what?
Oh
my God,
serotonin syndrome can
nerve-wracking.
occur when you increase the dose of certain medications. Symptoms are agitation, restlessness, confusion, rapid heart rate, dilated pupils, loss of muscle coordination or twitching muscles, muscle rigidity, heavy sweating, diarrhea, headache, shivering, goosebumps. That sounds fun. Goosebumps. Severe serotonin syndrome can be life-threatening, high fever, seizures, irregular heartbeat, unconsciousness.
Okay. So not worth it, even if it's a small risk.
Yeah, so not worth it. Why bipolar people can't take it, I'm not quite clear on.
You don't know, really?
I know, because I don't know. I don't know. I think maybe you're likely to have a psychotic break.
Oh, switch to mania after ayahuasca consumption.
Yeah, you're gonna have maybe a manic episode that never ends.
Oh my God, that never ends.
I don't know. That's what it sounds like. Switch to mania. If you just switch, I'm switching to mania.
I'm gonna write so
Bianca,
many sketches.
There's something I've been wanting to tell you. I'm switching to mania. Well, why won't you click on one?
Click
of
on
them?
one. We can't
You
see
won't
the
click on
res.
it because they're
Consumption
articles.
in
It's
man-
like a journal.
Yeah,
No,
but the
it's fine. This is
background we can get a
fine.
précis. God, look it up. We're gonna look précis up after this. It's a real word.
You want to pray?
There's an increasing use of ayahuasca for recreational purposes. Furthermore, there's growing evidence for the antidepressant properties of its components. However, there are no reports on the effects of this substance in the psychiatric setting. Harmaline, one of the main components of ayahuasca, is a selective and reversible MAO inhibitor and serotonin reuptake inhibitor. Conclusion, they don't have it. They don't got a conclusion why.
And it says that he had a manic episode after ayahuasca, and so
Yeah.
not
So
don't do
hypomanic episode in the past, and it's currently depressed.
it. Wow, this is a
Fucking
sad.
get in line, boss. Yeah, so I don't know why you can't. And what would I do if I was bipolar to get to hypotropic breathing, which again, I don't know. Look it up. Holotropic breathing. Sorry. You can basically hyperventilate your way into
DMT.
something. Well, we're gonna let the bipolar friend do it, and he'll let us know what happens. Sir, we need you to do it before next Monday when we record. Please, if you record it and then we'll cut it down. So you just hyperventilate into an altered state. I've done it before. I did it for like 15 minutes one time, and my arms got like
Is it worth
buzzy
it though?
and
It's like huffing paint.
I don't know. Look, man, here's what I know. I know that people are willing to endure any level, a very high level of risk to get out of this level of consciousness. Drugs, as I've stated on here before, the first 45 minutes of every drug is, are you dying? Am I dying? Are you dying? Do you feel like you're dying? I feel like maybe I'm dying. Are you dying? Dying. And then you don't. And then you get through that and you're like, oh, that's fucking awesome.
Right.
We got to get more. So if lying on your bed and breathing, I don't think it'll kill you. Look it up. Holotropic breathing.
Have you done like breath work?
Like holotropic breathing?
But breathwork classes, maybe not necessarily that. I don't know.
No, I almost took a holotropic breathing Zoom.
Zoom?
Yeah. But, I mean, are you talking about besides learning how to breathe like I did this week? Yeah, I did. And I wish you would listen to me more. Because it's the first thing I started the podcast with. You don't even listen anymore.
My friends swear by this breathwork class where it's just a lot of like deep, fast breathing.
That's holotropic breathing.
They don't call it that. So I got confused.
Yeah, that's what it is though. There you go, right there.
Shut up, Will. No one asked.
No, Will, you were right to humiliate Bianca.
I'm humiliated.
So good one. Good letter. Maybe try holotropic breathing, and also you could also switch to mania. That seems to be a pretty good, if that's an option.
Goodbye. You've got mail.
Hey, Neal and Bianca. Thursday Watcher here. Before I get into my question, Neal, I saw your set in Bangkok 2 Decembers ago, and I think it's about time you start planning a return, as the city is in desperate need of your fine brand of comedy. Kind words and persuasive flattery aside, though,
Is he South
last
African?
week you mentioned
New
your
Zealand,
misperception of athletes' age, and I gotta say, I feel the same. I hung up my rugby boots in my early 30s, yet when I watch games, I still somehow see these 20-year-old kids as my peers and have the ridiculous thought that I still have something left in the tank. But that ego-driven age denial quickly passes when I pinch one of my messed up shoulders in the attempt to lift a cup at a weird angle. Neal, from one aging man to another, do you have an anecdote of a moment when your mind was telling you yes, but your body was telling you no, and you had to admit to yourself that you were aging? Bianca, you seem a little too sprightly for this question to be relevant, but I'm sure you've witnessed guys attempting things their bodies are definitely no longer equipped for. Side note, as a South African, I really appreciate the love you guys show for Trevor. Cheers and keep up the Lacquer podcast.
That was good. I'm good with my axe.
Good one. Good one. Yeah, good one, Banks. You'll never have a song.
I know. Play a good one, Neal, I guess.
Great. I don't even know what that song is.
Bert. Attaboy Bert.
Oh,
but
great.
it's like Bert.
Oh,
Bert.
great,
Bert.
great.
Bert.
I don't even know. Is that from our podcast? Was there a moment where my body said, something said yes? Of course, I was in bed with this 18-year-old, right? I'm FaceTiming with this 18-year-old. I realize she's recording. I'm trying to think of, I broke my foot 2 weeks ago.
What? No, you didn't.
When you,
if
you break your little toe, there's nothing you can do.
Just tape it and then you're cool.
And I broke it in Joshua Tree. Just the Airbnb had a table that was like 3 different little tables.
Yes.
So it had 9 legs. So anytime you wanted, I jammed my toe twice, broke it. Like literally happened. I go, it's broken. Like immediately, because it was so fucking painful. And the bruising's been wild. It's been wild. It's been a while. That seems like an aging thing. I used to not break my feet. And there's nothing, nothing comes up that I'm like, I used to be able to do that. And now the good news about me is I never did anything. So when you get old, you can't go, I used to do this and I can't do it anymore. I never did anything. So I used to read and watch documentaries, and now I can still do that. I guess I chose wise. I chose old man behaviors.
Yeah, I went to a trampoline park with an older guy.
That's a tough. He made a mistake.
He fucked up.
Yeah.
2 good rounds on the tramps, and lower back was just, he was just like, I gotta sit. I was like,
that's so funny.
And it didn't, what made it worse, like insult to injury, was there the volume of little kids running around.
Yeah.
There's like clearly.
And he's like, stay away from me. No. That's you. There's one thing you can never show a woman: lack of coordination.
It was like,
never have I'm sure I've shared this theory. Never let a woman pick you up. You know when a woman's like, I can pick you up. Yeah. I literally I've said to women, you don't want to do this. There is no coming back from this.
I have picked Ian up so many. And
Ian Edwards?
And every time he's like, stop it. No, I told you I don't want you to do this. I'm like, Ian, get on my back.
Yeah.
And it's so funny. But I have a very strong back. I picked up Joe. I picked up Rogan
Did you
on
really?
my back.
Huh.
Lift them off the ground is picking up. To me.
He was in a vaccine clinic, right? And you walked in and picked him up, threw him on your back and got him out of there?
No, I didn't. I can't really lift him. I just was like, no. He's like, don't do this. I'm like, no, I can do it. And it was like
and you're never going to have sex with either.
You don't know that.
I don't know that. Ian Edwards has the finest, quiet sex game of anyone I know.
He's smoky. Rogan's a smokestack. You don't know that.
He's married. I do know
that.
Yeah.
But, it didn't make them like, ew.
Yeah, I hear you. Oh, not to you. But what I would say is be careful what you do in terms of physical coordination around a woman.
So, like, you mean stumbling or?
You don't want to stumble. If you stumble. If you fall, she's not fucking you for minimum
Fall
4
is
hours.
Hilarious. Yeah, no.
If you fall and make a noise, it's a week. If you go like, ah, she's not fucking you for a week.
But you get out of bed and make a noise. So what?
Right, guy already just fucked him. So what are they gonna do? I can't
Like,
fuck him again. At this age, I can't fuck again for a week anyhow. So I beat you. I win again.
Goodbye.
Great. Well, thank you for finally getting the message about these audio and video messages. We've been asking you for 2 fucking years.
What?
That people make audio and video messages because it just makes the whole thing better.
It's so nice. I'd much rather listen.
Yes. The reading.
You've got mail.
Hey, Neal and Bianca, longtime listener from New York. Comment on last week's show. Neal, you said you only really approach women who give you that available sexual energy, and I feel that to my core. Don't want to be a creep when somebody's going to the supermarket or laundry. You don't want to be that guy. To Bianca's point, during the same conversation, where she said that she shoots her shot, I feel it's admirable. And I think there's a big population of people where if you never do that, if you never put yourself out there, you're only going to be approached by people who would do that. Which is maybe, I'm not going to throw a percentage out because I have no fucking idea. But there's a lot of people out there that aren't confident enough to shoot their shot with you. So if you're not willing to kind of meet them halfway or give that available sexual energy, aren't you eliminating a big portion of your potential mates? Anyway, that's all I have to say. Love you guys.
It takes me a while to grow. I need to grow into that.
He doesn't love you yet.
There actually is a question about loving people in this in the written
portion.
Exam. Yeah, he's right.
You're cutting yourself off, and I know so many girls where I'm like, girl, this isn't the Bridgerton.
Right.
Like, just people are so afraid of rejection, but if you just process it in a different way, it doesn't have to be, you rejected me. My every square footage of it's like, no, it's not about that. It's just you will end up literally how you are now. You'll either be here or better.
Yeah.
And I only say that because there are girls that, they want boyfriends, they want a relationship, but we have these olden day rules in our head that it doesn't count if I, put in more effort than him, or it doesn't count if I'm the one who made it happen. I don't know I don't know how to help.
Yeah, I think women, I personally would appreciate if women hit on me more.
Really?
Yeah, because it's easier. But that's what I like about apps. Is like, I'm interested in you. Are you interested in me? Yes. And if she's not, I don't remember liking her in the first place.
Yeah, I think apps
I'm not
are
like
better
Ben
for
Affleck, where I keep fucking file on his videos. This loser Affleck. I'm kidding. Completely on his side.
That's also why I think apps and text messaging are better for guys.
Yeah, way better.
Way better.
Because you can't
Direct.
go to women at the store and offer them a fill in the blank. because it's wrong. Because it happened to Bianca once, and so no man
Neal's
should ever do
mad
it.
at me.
So
Goodbye. You've
Hi,
got mail.
Uncle Neal and Aunt B. Love your podcast. What a great team. Neal's my favorite comedian ever since I saw Three Mics, and I am a Tuesday WOQ, that's without qualifications, listener. Here's the question. Neal, what is your writing process like for developing material? We know there's a lot of work that goes into your clever jokes and material. I would love hearing how you develop your ideas. As if you don't have enough to do already, can you try to show us how to take an idea and make it funny, perhaps with this concept as a starter? Quote, a mixed marriage has previously been when people of different racial or religious backgrounds married. A present-day mixed marriage is a relationship between an Android and an Apple user.
Swing and a miss.
Good job.
Will fucking killed it. No one's going to come around here with a premise again. Not after what Will just did to him. That's the mixed marriage thing is a fine setup. Android Apple is a 10-year-old joke. So that's kind of the way people understand comedy. They understand it way late.
Right.
So now a mixed marriage would be like
a gender thing. Yeah, mask. Yeah.
Or like vaccine
Politics.
or like flip flop. Like, you know what I mean? Like something a tiny house thing. Not literally a tiny house thing, but like
it does
an
need to be
annoying
topical.
thing.
Like you can be a good DJ, but if all you're playing is 20 like
25-year-old songs, then you're my kind of DJ. Then you're my favorite DJ.
Cutting up in the club. You just have to, it has to be super current. It can be the same formula, but you have to plug in new
mixed
shit.
marriage is not a bad
setup.
thing. It's a tag, basically.
Yeah.
It's like, so it's a mixed marriage. But the mistake is the Apple Android. So I'm not going to show you any process stuff other than Apple Android.
Secrets.
But this is also a trap where I try to
Now
make
you
this
and
funny,
then
and
people
then
are like,
I get unfunny shit all over me. But meanwhile, I would have never even tried that.
It's like
lady, I got an apps note thing on here where I put them all in there, and then we go through them. What used to be once a week before COVID, and now I don't know when I'll do it next because I have a bunch of material.
I feel like Ian has that, like that Ian about the Android user joke, Ian Edwards' joke about it.
Yeah,
is so good.
He does an Apple Android. There were a lot of people did the poor angle.
Ian basically makes it that if you want to know what it's like to be a black person, like have an Android. It's like very funny.
You see,
it's very funny.
It's like everything comes up green. You're like, everyone else is blue, and you're like green. I like how we've blown 2 Ian Edwards jokes on the show.
I know. I'm like, cool. Ian, I hope you're not listening.
Goodbye. You've got
hey,
mail.
Neal and Bianca, big fan of the show. Don't worry about what day I listen to it. Neal, fan of Chappelle Show, love Three Mics, and thank you for introducing Bianca to the world. Bianca, you seem like an awesome person. It's not my style to write an email, but I spend a lot of my adult life in Minnesota, and I think I can add some insight and clear something up that you keep getting wrong about the Chauvin trial. Yes, I'm sorry, you and an emailer in the last episode are confusing 2 different women who were witnesses for the prosecution. One is the 911 dispatcher, happens to be a biracial woman, black and white, or as it's known now, Apple Android, who got the call and sent Chauvin and his boys to Cup Foods. Cup is, right, it's a knockoff of Cub Foods. When she saw Chauvin had George Floyd pinned to the ground for so long, she thought the traffic camera she was watching was frozen, realized it wasn't, sent an EMT, and also called Chauvin's sergeant to say something was wrong. This is where she said she doesn't want to seem like a snitch. The second woman is a firefighter, happens to be white, who was off duty but walked upon the scene of the murder. She tried to offer CPR and get Chauvin off of George Floyd, but was stopped by the other officers. Here's my insight, which you may be interested in. I used to work with a 911 operator, and she's a really good, kind person. Her deal is that she comes from a cop family. Her dad's a cop, uncles, etc. She actually wanted to be a cop, but her family wouldn't let her because she's female. So when she called Chauvin's sergeant and she said, quote, and she said wasn't trying to be a snitch, she knew how to talk to a cop and how it would be heard. And I assume the prosecution used her as their first witness because she is in a way a police official who the defense couldn't say was anti-cop. So say what you want about the thin blue line. Both women were trying to keep George Floyd alive. Just want to let you guys know you're confusing 2 different people. Trial was hard to watch, and I get it. This is good information. It's
Great
also,
information. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Actually, I also didn't know she had the 911 dispatch has access to like a CC.
Yeah, that's a funny thing.
TV.
She thought it was frozen.
She's like,
I mean, it's like a
let me
not
restart
funny, but
it.
it's yeah,
No, it's
like,
not funny at all.
Hey, is this frozen? No, we just haven't moved. This is a good it's about bias. It's like she's a cop family. She's this.
Right.
This. Everyone's bias. It's like you had a bias because a guy held a thing up at the gym. So you're like, I don't think that's a good thing for any guy to do ever. But we all walk around with. I have 70 of those. That's like, well, I have this now. My bias is,
right.
And almost every fight, every argument is someone's bias, and then you find out later what their bias is. And you're like, oh, if I knew that, then I wouldn't have da-da-da-da-da. But it's usually like, I got triggered by a thing that reminded me of a thing that you had no way of knowing. So there's actually a letter about that later. Some really good letters today. It'd be a real shame if we ran out of time.
You've got mail.
How do you feel, RSTNLE? How do you feel about the idea that cops don't prevent crime? They just take criminals to jail that do. An Uber X con, if you will.
X con.
The major threats to society are murder, rape, and thief. And best case scenario, they would take someone to jail or give you a police report to bring to your insurance company, in which case the pen and keys truly are mightier than the sword. I think he's saying cops don't stop crime. They just come after it happened and clean up. Yeah, which he's right. You can't, the problem is you can't prove deterrence. You can't prove people don't graffiti in high visibility places because if the cops drive by, you're fucked. Like the shit like that. You don't punch, whatever. There's a lot of them that you don't do because either a cop will drive by or whatever. So cops, we need them. Just don't kill people. Don't kill people is the point. It's hard to, it's like religion. How much deterrence are they doing?
Goodbye. You've got mail.
Bianca Neal. I heard you talking about feelings and how some people can manipulate you with them. I would like to share with you one way to avoid this. I came across this process called nonviolent communication, developed by a psychologist named Marshall Rosenberg. A Jewish psychologist. Now I've seen everything. It has worked wonders on my relationships. The first time it was explained to me, I thought I will finally get to win some arguments with my wife. Anyway, if someone tells you, quote, I feel you have to do this, or I feel abandoned by you, first realize that these are not feelings. Don't tell them this, just notice it, and then try to guess what is the real feeling behind their statement, i.e., do they feel sad, hurt, angry, confused, etc. And then try to figure out what need is not being satisfied that makes them feel the way they feel. Maybe it's a need for collaboration or affection, or another one. I hooked you up with a list of feelings and needs. Thanks.
Thank you.
This way you acknowledge they have feelings, and you also acknowledge what is important for them, changing the conversation from guilt or shame to being there for them without being manipulated. Hope you guys read the book, Nonviolent Communication, A Language of Life. It's interesting, and I think it's a good base for efficient conversations. Also, if you're ever in Tijuana, let me know, and I can recommend some good tacos and nice Mexican food.
Oh, I go to Tijuana a lot, actually.
You want to know where there's good Mexican food? Fucking everywhere. It's Tijuana. Now, I tried to listen. James and Jamila recommended Nonviolent Communication, and I tried to listen to it, and the book on tape, the voiceover was so bad.
No.
I could not fucking believe. I can't even categorize it.
The art of speculating.
It was worse.
He wishes.
I wish that kid, if only. I'm going to pay that kid to re-record it. So I hear about nonviolent communication.
Why the nonviolent? Sounds.
I think it's
dicey.
Probably not accusatory shit like that. What I've realized, I feel like most of the time when a woman has a problem with a man, I believe it can be mostly categorized as I don't think you like me as much as I like you. I think that's the bottom line. You were late. You were whatever the thing is. The underlying thing is I don't think you like me, either as much as I like you, or very much, or whatever. Because I think there's another problem that women have, which is they don't ever think about, do I like this guy? They just think he likes me. Fuck it, and then that becomes the whole thing of like gauging how much he likes you in that moment. A whole other argument.
I have an issue where there's guys that I realize I'm like, I don't mean like me. Love me.
I'm saying take fucking out of it if you can.
No,
reduce it.
There's some times, and I think it goes for both sexes, where they like the idea of you more than they actually fuck with your personality. That probably happens to you a lot. No, that sounds rude, but I just mean that it's like, oh, Neal, and he's funny, smart, but it's like,
you know how I make the jokes, right?
Right.
It's a lot of just sitting around. It's not like
a show.
Yeah.
And I just think people have ideas of each other.
Yeah.
And they'll still rock with you, but you're not exactly
I was hoping
what they
for a few more boats.
You're like, sorry, baby, I don't go outside.
Women don't. That doesn't happen to me very much because I don't read as
once they get there, they know
cokey or what I mean? I don't read as like I'm gonna buy you a chain. I'd take tennis lessons in a public court.
You don't ice them out?
I don't know. It's that 2-year anniversary. So I think most problems are. Most guys' excuses are, I don't want to spend time with you. And they have a million reasons why.
No, that's
I can't date you. I don't want to spend time. And I think people would be well served by getting better at like not a match. It's just not a match. Like, doesn't work. It's not like, it's not better when you're around.
It's funny. I got in an argument with friends because I was explaining how I ended up not talking anymore with this guy. And they get on my case saying I should have told him exactly why I didn't like him. I'm like, no. Nope. Life coach, therapist, normal person would say, I have to give all my energy to somebody that I'm choosing not to get into something with and tell them exactly why. I'm like, why would I do that? They're like, my one friend said, oh, well, I would like to know. And I think it's like a courtesy to know, like, I don't, no one wants to just, sometimes you're left wondering, man, like I thought that would have worked out. And it's weird that it didn't. But I said, also, that's not my responsibility or my problem to inform you. Because the choices we make to get into a relationship are very different than the choices we make to get out of one. If we were in a relationship, I think I can be really straight up with you and, hey, these are the things that aren't working. But if I'm not going there with you, I don't owe you anything.
It's also mean.
It's super mean.
Because it's not, they're your particular issues.
Exactly what I told them.
Particular things that didn't work for me. So I think they want you to tell him and then he'll fucking do a montage and change. And it's like, nobody's changing. Nobody's changing shit.
Why would I go? Because I said one of them is that he drank more than I cared for. And they're like, why didn't you tell him that? I'm like, well, maybe he didn't drink a lot. He's not an alcoholic.
So a lot of people go out 4 nights a week and drink 3 or 4 drinks.
Yeah.
That's way too much for me. Not for most of America.
Yeah. Why would I make him think he has a problem when it's just my particular?
Yeah.
It's selfish. I was really kind of annoyed. I'm like, guys, also, nothing.
Also, let one guy do it to them.
Right?
And then see how well they...
I don't like the way your toes grow or something.
And see how helpful and constructive they find it when they go under the fucking knife. I can do it. I got the ideas.
I'm not...
I just wouldn't do it because it's not helpful.
Right. Thank you.
Yeah,
it
like
me
it's...
feel better.
Goodbye. You've got
a devoted Tuesday feeler here. I really do love everything about your podcast, and I thank you both for the time you spend each week. I have a Chappelle Show question. We'll play the song because it's too long and I can read over it. I know is not this podcast, but I'm taking a shot. The sketch where Tron pleaded the fifth. How does that even happen? Do you realize at the time when you're writing will be referenced 15 years later?
Goat?
No. I don't like the word goat. I think it's silly.
I know.
I
You
think
didn't read it on purpose. I know you didn't read it on purpose.
And it's not good. It's nothing. It's just a thing.
Neal's the greatest of all time.
Is that the greatest sketch of all time? The sketch came about. It's a sketch where we switch the white justice system for the black justice system. And it came about because my sister, who I will not name, was mad that Ken Lay from Enron got perp walked and Allen Iverson got to just turn himself in at his own discretion. As a white woman, she didn't like that. She thought it was, and I pointed out that it's the first time it's ever worked in that way. And then we ended up doing a
That's
switch.
really funny.
Yeah. And then we added like the Law and Order ding ding between it.
The ding ding is
Yeah.
muy especial.
Burr is very funny in that sketch.
Burr's good. So is
the judge is very funny in that sketch. And who else is in that sketch? The guy, the white guy
was
is
perfect.
funny.
He was like a perfect.
Just fucking like what the whole time. And Dave is so fucking funny. That's not even the funniest thing he says in that sketch. The funniest thing he says in that sketch is the finest meats and cheeses. He pluralized meats and cheeses, which is fucking hilarious. And then the fifth thing, it was written that way, and then it just becomes a thing of like, I gotta do something on each one. So it's also a thing that he's incredibly, maybe when I say like in my decathlon, where it's like it was him and Eddie, and then at a certain point, Dave overtook Eddie in my head. Because it's not like Eddie can't do that shit, but it's like that thing is like he'd fucking do it almost every day.
Right.
Where it was like,
right.
Wow. I mean, not every day, but once a week, like a lot. And which isn't to say that Eddie hasn't done it or can't do it. He's never really put himself in the position to have to do it.
Right.
But even like Dave's scene with Eddie and Nutty Professor, he improvised the whole thing.
No.
Every line he said, he improvised. Dave did.
Who's sucking whose titties over
He
here?
told me he said it that day.
That's so
He's like,
fun.
I was like improv and Jada, and I came out, I did like the raw pose.
Right.
And I said, who is sucking whose titties tonight? Or right here. And it was just like, oh, okay. Like,
That's
okay, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And then you see it like, oh, okay.
That's so funny.
Yeah. So that's what we're talking about, where if you're going to do a sketch show,
Maniac.
Switch
to Maniac.
Switch to Maniac. He's an absolute maniac, and I'm a maniac in a different, as he said, we were like thrill killers, where I'd be like, he'd stab somebody and be like, stab him in the fucking face, Davey. Like just fucking crazy people encouraging each other. So thank you for the question. It's a pleasure to bring up.
Goodbye.
Dear
You've
Neal,
got mail.
Dear Binks and Brennan, I was watching a show the other day, and they had one of those scenes where one person says, I love you first, and then doesn't get it reciprocated, and of course is then all heard about it. Why are Americans so obsessed with saying I love you and being in romantic love, but not with being loving human beings on the planet? Romantic love is so elusive, but being loving towards others can happen today, right now, with tangible immediate effects. So tell me, what is this obsessing with chasing the abstract I love you moment? How could it be counteracted with something better for humanity? Should it be?
I like this question.
This is Hong Kong Jimmy's sister, whose name is escaping me. It was on the letter. Well, I have a few ideas about why saying I love you is more popular. way easier than doing it.
Right.
It's like saying it's a hashtag. It's a hashtag or marching.
Right.
That's about the proportion, and there's also something when you say I love you, it opens up a lot of options. You get a higher level of merchandise and treatment that you would not get by having a boundary.
Right.
If you go like, really nice to meet you, man. They're like, I said I love. If I said I love you, then we're like, it's a big LA thing where sometimes people say I love you in LA, and you're like, what the fuck?
Right.
Like, no.
You don't love me.
Yeah, it's like when your boss says you're family.
That's the best.
I don't need it. I'm good. I'm good on family. Big 10 kids. Already a problem. No more family for me. Thank you. Will, but you're my son. Your thoughts on I love you?
I think I don't know. It depends because I've been in situations where I don't like an overused I love you. I stop believing it very quickly. Like,
well, that's
no, you
another thing
don't,
that happens
fucker.
in relationships where they just go like, I love you. It's like, shut up.
Or it's
Keep
like,
it down. I love you.
Or like you're mad, like, I love you. Like,
Yeah.
Ugh, we're not dealing with anything. This is cringe. I'm embarrassed that you think this is working in the way that you think it is. It's not at all. So I don't always love I love you.
I love it. No, but no, it's a cheat.
It's a cheat, but I feel like you don't go around saying I love you to people. So if you said you loved someone, I feel like there's weight, there's value to that.
Well, that's, yeah.
And then there's
like,
people that are like, I love you.
Yeah. I have like categories, my buddy, my friend, like I got a whole thing.
Buddy.
Guy I know. Buddy, you guys don't like it, but buddy is right below friend.
I'm
And
fine with it.
right above guy I know.
Guy. Where's my guy?
My guy doesn't make the list. My guy I save for NBA All-Star Weekend. We're just going, my guy. Y'all know my guy. Bunch of fake hellos. That's another thing you have to get used to with black guys. A lot of big hellos. A lot of big theatrical hellos. Yes, performative hellos.
Goodbye. You've got
Neal
mail.
Binks and Brennan. I was watching a show the other day. No. Guys, I fucked up. I fuck up sometimes.
Edit it out.
I love you guys. LMNOP. All right, that's ERs. Great podcast, great stand-up, and great hair, Binky. I'm a 30-year-old black guy living in the Northeast. A few years ago, I was with a white woman 3 years younger than me for about 2.5 years. Wasn't serious. We'd go out for drinks, then have sex. Hang out with friends, then have sex. Watch Netflix, then have sex. Good luck with the 3 mics. Good luck watching 3 mics and trying to fuck after that. Doesn't even work for me. Too sad. You get the picture. After 3 years of this cycle, she calls to let me know she wants to end things. I don't fight it. If someone doesn't want me, if someone doesn't want to be with me anymore, I'm not going to force them. My question is in regards to women's dating strategy, particularly white women. This is generalizing, but we do smallpox blanket statements on the show. Well, Will. There we go.
Smallpox blanket statement.
So racist. But do white women who date interracially tend to settle down with white men once they hit their late 20s, early 30s, or, quote, I want a husband phase? Is it just easier to start a family with what they know? Do they not want to deal with possible drama from friends, family, and society? Are they afraid of children with unruly hair? As always, we'd love to hear what you and Binks have to say regarding the topic. Keep up the good work. Will, too.
Well, I have a question for him because it almost seems like he's happy to keep it casual, never accelerated the relationship.
This is a funny thing for you to, this is where you show your priorities. Meaning, no. I'm saying like women, black stuff. It's like you're siding with women here when you could side with him because he's a black guy over a white woman. But you're also a woman.
I don't have blind loyalty to anybody.
No, I know you don't. But I'm saying it's funny that when we find ourselves at a hierarchy fork.
Well, because my thing is, if he said, everything was going great. I met her parents, and then she just bounced on me and ended up with this white guy and ended up married. I'm like, oh yeah, word. Let's explore it. But it seemed so casual, and they're in their 20s. And then she was like, man, I don't want the casual thing anymore. Now it's like, do white women just leave us?
I think I see a pattern
men?
here.
Yeah, so I'm like gonna defend white women here a little bit. Like, now it's a race thing.
I think
was it a race thing when you were fucking
her
for 2.5 years? No, she was just a girl you were hanging out with. Now it's like,
was it a race thing when you made her put on Confederate woman outfit? What then? And you dress like a Detroit Piston? Did that seem racial? I think of course this happens. Meaning, of course, white women will fuck a black guy quietly.
Of course.
On the side. Everyone's got their quiet. Black
Everyone
dudes do it with
does
white women. Black women do. I don't know.
I
who
know
black
like
women
a
do it with.
Jewish guy that was like,
right.
It's like, I'm gonna have my fun and I'm gonna marry a Jewish girl because
it's
because.
just because I don't want to fight my mom.
Yeah.
It happens. I don't know if he seems like way more hurt than I bet he. I bet she thought. Yeah, I bet then she thought he was going to be, or he thought he was going to be. If he had pitched like, why don't we make this official?
She'd probably be like, whoa, I didn't think he played it too cool, because honestly, she probably, I'm going out on a limb here, thought you were not super interested in her.
It was never gonna happen with you.
It was just always gonna be this.
This is a pretty typical guy move though, of like.
It's such a typical guy move. It's like, whoa.
I thought we had something. It's like, tell me, you fucking didn't ever take her out. Although they did hang out with friends, right?
Hang out with friends, but he even, I mean, his words was very casual.
Yeah.
Sex was the main bond.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, there's a, And then.
What?
Well, there's also like, is that a bond for marriage?
Well, can you change a hookup into a serious relationship?
If you just are really physically attracted to somebody, is that as valuable as compatibility of TV shows and bed and habits and
TV
kids
shows
and all that
one.
shit?
No,
I'm serious though.
No,
like,
I know. It's like if
just really, some people you just have a lot of attraction for.
Right.
And just like, wow, I still want to fuck you. How is this happening?
Well, that's the thing though. He doesn't. You can, maybe that's not the best bond. That's not the best connection, but it can't be that sad. I mean, there's girls you've hooked up with that if it doesn't work out, it's like sad because the sex isn't there anymore.
It was like a store that closed.
Yeah. Like
that's how I see people.
Wow.
Stores that are either open or closed.
You're like, that was Mervin's. There goes Mervin's.
Yeah, goodbye, Mervin's. Thank you for that 30% off sale at the end. I don't know what that means sexually, but we can do something. We can figure it out. You can do the math on that one yourself. Did you see the story, guys? Yeah, I don't feel a ton of sympathy. I don't even think he feels a ton of sympathy for himself, but making it into like, is this a thing that women do where
now
they fuck you for 2.5 years?
2.5 years? She saw something.
Hit it and quit it thing over 2.5 fucking years.
Dumped me.
Yeah.
No.
It's not like you are in charge of jet skis in St. Thomas and she fucked you for the weekend, you fucking idiot. Anyhow, but thanks for listening.
Thank you so much.
But that guy, I like his spirit. He gets it.
He gets it.
Stop. You don't have a case though.
No.
He has no case.
And he knows.
Just enjoy it. Don't be
sad
that it happened. Be sad that it happened. Be glad that it happened.
Goodbye. You've got
Hello,
mail.
Nardo and Binks. Tuesday listener here. Still positively reeling from the apology regarding Louis Farrakhan last summer. Thanks for that one. That might have been the guy who threatened to leave if we didn't apologize.
Yeah.
Although I thought maybe we did apologize. Yeah, we did.
Really well about that.
Tuesday. Okay, I got into it the other night with a close buddy who's a bona fide left-leaning gun nut. Told me he thinks some gun control in the country is good. His argument still stands. No one on the face of the earth is going to take away my guns, which of course he believes Biden will do. For a context, he's a white college dropout and has been saying he was going to the military for the last 5 years with absolutely no steps towards doing that whatsoever. He told me guns are tools. Personally, I would like to end mass shootings, which apparently is a divisive take. His take was that everyone needs to get a gun and learn how to use it, or else you're going to die. I'm very much in Neal's corner with the no one is going to try to get me argument, being a liberal, straight white male. Do I have permission to stop talking to this friend forever because he has literally started talking crazy to me? One of my best friends, but I'm tired of having to educate these people, especially when he tells me that I'm the one that needs a gun and that it's their problem if people are murdered in broad daylight in a mass shooting.
Ooh.
You can't stop talking to him unless he's black. And then you just got to deal with it.
That's the point of the pod, you guys.
It's called the Unless He's Black podcast. Yeah, I know a girl who was fucking a black guy quietly and she couldn't leave him for 2.5 years. Yeah, guns. All right, here's a gun stat I do want to get into. So, will you break down homicide? Gun deaths.
No.
Gun deaths per year. Okay. Yeah, fair enough. Okay, so basically
all injuries, morbidity, mortality,
firearm deaths, 39,000 deaths a year. Okay, 2/3 of that's suicide. So now we're down to 20,000 deaths a year. When you look at where it's happening, there's a Washington Post article about it, actually. It's, of course, racial. The amount of violence by gun, the amount of gun violence in America. Yeah. 113. All right, fuck it. The sad thing is, it's very hard.
That's how you get around the paywall.
It's very hard. Yeah, apparently you go into incognito mode. I didn't know that. I learned that watching the podcast. Yeah, don't worry about it. I'll sign you in. So, the amount of white people that get shot, kind of walking around, or even someone they know, is really fucking low. Like fucking crazy low. The sheer number of white people that get shot is lower than the sheer number of black people that get shot. And when you look at population, that's insane.
Yeah.
So young black men, teens, made up 37% of gun homicides. Like fucking a crazy amount of homicide, particularly by
20 times more than their white counterparts.
Yeah. It's fucking insane. So don't carry a gun unless you're a black man.
Yeah.
Like the 20 times fucking higher. Can you scroll down, Will? Across all ages, black men were nearly 14 times more likely to die in a firearm homicide than white men, and 8 times more likely to die in a firearm homicide than the general population. So it's 8 times more deadly, and that's before the cops get there. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
And I'm not like a black on black crime guy. It's like the cops aren't going to help, but it's in terms of just look at these stats. When you look at a stat, keep clicking because there's shit that comes up. You're like, wow.
Right. The reasons, but what is the solution? Because it's all the guns that end up in the hood with no serial numbers or, whatever. Like that's the issue. Even though mass shootings like that, there's just so many different gun issues going on here.
Yeah.
Like most of the guns in this country end up in the hood.
I think the hood issue is happening before guns get there.
No, of course.
You know what I mean?
But
like,
I'm just saying when we talk about gun control.
Yeah,
we only talk about it when it refers to mass shootings. Whereas the gun issue in poorer neighborhoods has been there.
I think one solution would be that lock thing where it will only unlock with your fingerprint. Which, by the way, is like very simple technology that I've had for 20 years.
It's on our phone.
Yeah, and they don't want it on. The gun manufacturers don't want it on their shit.
But somebody has, and I don't know enough, and I feel like you've probably watched a documentary or read about it. Someone's making a profit on guns ending up like, registered guns ending up in.
I think that
There's so
I don't
many.
think guns are leaving the factory and going to the streets. They're
No.
going. They are legal and
They're legal guns.
accounted for a
Yes.
while, and then they become apparently in Chicago they're not allowed in city, so they just go to Indiana and get them, shit like that. And I don't know about serial numbers and ballistics and all that shit. The bigger issue is slavery, meaning it's all just pretty direct to slavery.
No, that's all. I just wonder when we talk about gun control in this country, we're not talking about these stats. We're talking more about mass shootings. And even though that's a whole different thing and like kids have to do drills that are very sad, these stats are like the real problem. The real problem is not that.
Yes.
So.
Right. But that's because then they go, it's mental health. If it's a mass shooting, they go, it's crazy.
Yeah.
The guy rented out 2 suites at the fucking hotel at the gold one.
He used the mini bar. It's insane.
That's how you know he's out of his mind. He actually ate the M&Ms from the refrigerator. It's just a crazy amount of black people getting shot and being shot by other black men.
Goodbye.
Black men getting shot by black men. It's a scourge. I'm gonna go so far as to say it's a scourge.
You've
Hello,
got
Neal and
mail.
Bianca. I know Rogan's a big deal in comedy, but I feel like everyone is giving him a pass here. People aren't mad that he's expressing an opinion or that he's doing a poor man's version of Daily Show infotainment. People are mad because Joe is getting people killed. By all reports, he has 11 million subscribers. If we conservatively say that 1% of his followers will follow his advice and COVID has a 2% fatality rate, that's still 2,200 people. Even if we say everything is in his favor and only 1% of those people actually get sick and die, that means Joe killed 22 people. Just like if he had convinced them to commit suicide. That makes Joe Rogan the Bill Cosby of negligent homicide.
Don't get
No, it sure doesn't. I know we've gotten used to conservatives in politics handing out bad medical advice, but we aren't going to forgive them either. Maybe you're not. On an unrelated note, much love to Binky. So
Much
this guy's got a
love.
lot on his
Much
plate right
love.
now. I don't believe that Joe is responsible for 22 people dying of COVID.
2,200.
No, he said 22 people
20.
will contract it and then 22 people will die.
Because of Joe.
Joe's bad advice. Again, if you can, this is that thing of where,
Foxmania.
yeah, Roganitis. There's got to be funnier ones than
There is.
Itis Mania. Itis.
We gotta, there's like
it's
RG.
like
There's
Otomy
can we
is
do
a good one.
Like
Yeah.
an RG.
Answer, like cancer.
Oh,
You
answer.
get it? It doesn't work. Don't worry about it. It doesn't work. Don't look too far into it.
Answer.
So this guy's saying because people are gullible enough to listen to a comedian, that comedian then has to not give his opinion about things anymore. Which is like, no, I don't think that's how that works, boss. Like, he's not now, like, after how many listeners
Yeah.
does he have? Is it his responsibility to get nothing but facts? Because we have a lot of listeners. We've been wrong about shit before.
Yeah.
I don't feel like we're responsible for it.
No. And it's like, it's weird because I get why people were upset with Rogan, but everyone has to take a step back and realize their emotions are misplaced. They're misplaced. I know, even though it feels like, nah, but fuck him because he said the thing. It's like,
Right.
he can say the thing.
And you know what I say to anyone who has a problem with Joe? Fight him. Fight him. I did. And he really hurt me very badly. I was in a coma for 9 months. It's the Daily Show. This guy had a pretty confident letter, but you're not going to get me with, it's not or answer the question, at what point does he need to start just reading bulletins from the government?
Right.
He said he said a thing that he would say to a healthy 21-year-old that was dumb, and then he said the next day it was dumb.
Right. So let's not put so much stake in this. Right.
The COVID's already gone. Why don't you look at the fact that people are getting he's so far downstream in terms of the problems.
Yeah, exactly.
That it's silly. Look, I personally don't take this shit anymore. I feel like you probably don't either.
I don't either.
So
you're driving along.